things is if you have that spirit of lust, um, then it can manifest in so many different ways, not just within your sexual struggles. And that's something to be aware about. Like you may think that just because you're no longer going hard like in the dating scene, that now you have dealt with the spiritual aspect within, but the likelihood is that you haven't. You're just like putting it towards another area. And I think there's a big movement out there right now where, from what I've seen, like people are talking about to lots of guys, red pill advice, semen retention, no fap, things like that. Channel the energy towards your creative aspect, and I think that is beneficial to some degree, but it's not actually looking at like the root of the problem. It's more so looking at the surface level thing. The root is, the selfishness that exists within. Now, I'm not saying that you want to completely get rid of the sexual part of who you are, because at the end of the day, that's our human nature. That's how we've been designed. Like specifically, it wouldn't be part of our reproduction system if that wasn't the main purpose and intention. But what I'm saying is that there is moral sexuality and immoral sexuality. And if your sexuality has been perverted because of the way that it's been suppressed through just, either the environments that you've grown up in, or how you weren't able to express it, which is probably like a lot of people from the ones that I've spoken to, whether you've grown up in strict households or not, then chances are like there's going to be repressed desire that exists within as well. So dealing with that can really help, because then you can still be someone who is a sexual person, but have more selfless intent, right? And have more purification within, because at the lowest level of intent, your intent is just simply impulsive. It's it's hyper animalistic, and it's all selfish. So when you're jumping into like certain business models, you can be getting initial success, but then by getting it through selfish means, there's going to be a hidden debt to that, of which you might not necessarily recognize until later down the line. Because this is one of the things that is I'd say a problem with social media, is that everybody is portraying a version of their lifestyle and success as if it's perfect. Why? Because that's how they attract customers that come in. I know it because it's what I was taught to do. And it can work. Like you can attract gullible people by doing that. But the reality is that those people will have the equal amount of good things in their life, as well as equal amount of things that go against their preferences. So everything that they're showing to you on the screen is like showing, yeah, my life is great. It's incredible. Which is why when it comes to like lifestyle content, I think it's somewhat dangerous to be getting engrossed within people that are putting out like short form lifestyle content and just showing you a glimpse into how they're living. It's giving you this false sense of connection where you feel as though you are also a part of their life, and you know what's going on, you know how they live, you know their personality, when really all you know is the version of themselves that they put out to the world. Like, you don't really know that person. And this is part of the reason for why, like, I really personally, like, now love the long form content a lot more, and content that is getting to know like a person's soul rather than just knowing the little snippets of what they dress like or what they like to eat. Yo, welcome back to Mo's Flow, the show where souls grow and hearts glow. And in today's episode, this is the one that I'm doing right after my birthday that I just had yesterday. So wish me a happy birthday in the comments if you're watching this on the replay. And yeah, it's been a good 3 days where I've had a little bit of time to rest, recover, and celebrate the year that's just gone, as well as celebrating everything to come in the next year moving forwards too. And it's good for me because my birthday is like similar time to the end of the year, where this is the kind of time where if you're in business or if you're into your personal growth, then you're going to be doing certain things that will help you to set intentions and also reflect on sort of what's gone over the last year, review things, and that's how you can course correct. So what I found myself naturally doing, and what I always find myself doing around this time of year, is really taking this precious time to not necessarily hustle outright, because one thing I do believe is that most people kind of take this time off and they just watch movies, holidays, spend time with family, and all that stuff is great in a certain season of your life. But at the same time, one of the reasons for why I've been able to create any form of success that I've had, it's come from being willing to make certain sacrifices. And the Christmas time period for when I was younger, this was always a time where I would spend so much time watching movies and playing in the snow, just having fun, being a kid, etc. But now, like the season that I'm in, this Christmas time is one of the times where I get really excited, because it's like I already know that, most people are just going to get lazy at this time. Most people are going to switch off and feel like, yeah, it's time to rest, have a break, have a reset. Whereas for me, it's like, this is where I really double down. So it's not just about creating the space to reflect and set intentions, but it is also about being super productive, getting things done, knowing that this is the time period where people are going to be at home. They're going to be, looking for opportunity. They're going to be thinking new year, new me. And they kind of start their next year in January. Whereas myself, I almost feel like as an entrepreneur, the best thing we can do is start our year about a month before, at least. So my Happy New Year's already begun with that logic. But interestingly enough, what I found myself more so reflecting on this year for this birthday was not necessarily on everything to do with business, because I spent so much time reflecting on that earlier this year, when I'd say that was an area that required most of my attention through reflection. But interestingly enough, now that I've kind of like developed a lot more certainty and stability in terms of my understanding and through the reflection with my business, I found myself looking at another area of my life, which I wouldn't say is like majorly chaotic, but it's an area where I wouldn't say that I've ignored it. It's just something that hasn't been at the forefront, if that makes sense. So what got me doing this, to share the story there, is I was just scrolling a little bit on Facebook. I don't usually scroll. If I go into any of these platforms, I just open up, check the notifications, look at the first video, and that's about it. And the first post that I actually saw on Facebook was a post where it was showing a podcast that was looking quite interesting to me, because the person on there, they had gone through a lot of personal growth, a lot of personal development. I'd seen them come up from like the very beginning to now being someone that's a multi 7-figure earner in their business. And they went through like a whole journey in terms of transformation. And, I remember when they were doing like 5 figures a month, they came onto a call and actually inspired me to look into certain things such as quantum physics, metaphysics, Joe Dispenza. And after that conversation, like, I was very disciplined with it. I started to do a lot of Joe Dispenza meditations. I started to learn a lot more about quantum and the multiverse and things like that. So it really kind of set me off on this path. So I was interested to see the title of the podcast, which was after a few years of me not really following them at all in terms of how their journey was going. And I saw on there, it said that something like new age entrepreneur turns into Christian Jesus believer, something like that. So I was like, okay, this is an interesting one to look at, and it's my birthday. I might as well take the time to see what's going on here. And I watched that video. It was about an hour and a bit long, and it was one of these ones, like, I usually don't watch content. I don't read books unless I feel an intuitive pull towards that. So that's why you might be watching this right now as well. Like, you feel that intuitive pull, like something from a higher plane is like calling you to watch this. And I felt that pull. So I watched it. It was about 2 hours long. And, the really interesting thing for me was seeing how she'd basically experienced having all the success, but then even at the point of reaching multiple 7 figures, she said that she still didn't have peace. Like, there was still a lot of anxiety. She had all the freedom, the time freedom, the systems, everything to automate her life. But there was just still certain things going on that made it feel like it wasn't fully something of which she could be totally content with. Even though she had done the gratitude list, she had done a lot of the manifestation practices, elevating her frequency, etc. Like, she still didn't feel the sense of peace that she really wanted. And she couldn't figure out what it was. So she ended up going on like this whole journey until she reached a point where she just ended up discovering Christianity, the Bible, read that in a single year. And by the end of the year, like, she was a whole different person who, after going through that process, felt this new sense of peace. And I was like, okay, well, this is interesting, because what she was ascribing it to is that, even though you may be able to get a lot of success and you may be able to achieve your goals and aspirations through the proven methods, scientifically proven methods that are put out there by either entrepreneurs on YouTube or personal development books, what they don't necessarily tell you about in any of these books is the hidden cost to incur from when you actually go and put what they're evoking or what they're teaching into practice. So for example, if you've ever read the book like Money and the Law of Attraction by Abraham Hicks, and this was one of the ones that she was very much advocating in her early days, and it's also one of the ones that I've listened to, and at face value, everything looks really good, and it looks interesting. It looks like it sounds like it would work. It's positive, but the thing that it doesn't really show within it is like it's only giving you what to do and why, as opposed to this is what it's going to cost you once you've actually done it. And the reason that they do that, of course, is because they're looking to make book sales, or they're looking to grow their following, grow their community. So although it might work in delivering on the result, there's a hidden cost that can potentially come with that when scaled to a bigger level. So for example, like when you're first just getting started out in business, maybe the only thing that you will care about will be money and cash flow. So if you get it to a point where you've done 5K in a month, 10K in a month, then that's like life-changing amounts. But then if you just continue scaling what's worked, then that gets to 100K, gets to 1 million. But the costs that you've incurred on a lower level, you might be able to withstand. Whereas on the highest level, that's not maybe something that you would like to experience, because at the end of the day, anything that you scale is just an amplification of what goes on within. And I've learned that the hard way as well. So this is one of the things to really consider is like, what are you scaling? Are you scaling something that is bringing you, true sense of joy and fulfillment and more connection to the divine and developing your relationship with God? Or you're scaling something that's actually taking you further away and it's just getting worse and worse and worse? So like this is what she was describing to as well, is saying that although on the surface everyone would have paid like so much money, given everything, sacrificed everything to trade lives with her, that's practically what she did. And she's now saying that she actually wouldn't, in hindsight, have made that trade, because it's almost like doing a deal with the devil. And when you do a deal with the devil, it's like the devil can manipulate and is very good at doing so. This is one thing I think people don't necessarily understand about how the enemy works, is that the enemy is really smart. And if you think you're smart, like the enemy can be smarter than you as well. So when, like, a book that I would recommend listening to, actually, and it is a new age personal development book, but what I like about this one, if there are like two new age personal development books that I would recommend, it's this one and it's another one. So this one is called Outsmarting or Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. And the one that is like that is by Neale Donald Walsch. It's called Conversations with God. What I like about both of these is that it just allows you to kind of see a little bit more as to recognizing and discerning between how the devil will move and how God will move. Because at the end of the day, this is one of the things that she was talking about too, is that the same way that God can, by utilizing his power and leveraging the power that comes from his blessings, the devil can actually bring you all of those things too. The enemy can bring you all of those things too, because at the end of the day, like, it gets you attached to this world, which is the main agenda of the devil as well. But when you do a deal like that, then there can be some hidden costs that are incurred spiritually. And it's the same thing that I actually learned in business, which was really interesting because everything in the physical is simply a reflection in the spiritual. So one of my biggest lessons that I learned in business was that it's all well and good to take a look at the value of something, but the value is just what is the first part of the equation to get you towards your goal. So it takes into account things like speed, ease, pleasure, believability, certainty. These are all things that will determine how quickly you get there and how the experience will feel like. So it's important. But then there's life after that, which is your cost of fulfillment. So within business, it's like you can make a lot of money, and that's what we did. Like within 6 months, we were able to build a company that made like it was multiple six figures in revenue within 6 months. And although on the surface people will celebrate, be like, "Wow, that looks incredible," what they don't necessarily see is the debt that came after that, and that was having to, actually go and fulfill on all of those clients and the experience that we had to deliver for. And it's not just the actual fulfillment, but it's like, and I was just talking about this earlier on with another guy that's been through a similar process as well. It's almost like every business owner learns this through just playing the game. It's like you don't just have that cost of fulfillment that is what you expect, but there's also the unexpected things that go wrong that you don't factor in. So this is one of the things that I learned in sales, is that like you put all your eggs into one basket with one person that you want to close. Chances are you're not going to get very far in sales, because 9 out of 10 people won't be able to even afford what it is that you're offering, depending on which market that you've gone after and who's coming through in the leads. But a bunch of people might not be able to afford it. A bunch of people won't be interested, won't understand it. So there's only going to be a smaller percentile of people who are actually going to be able to become customers or clients. And it's the same thing within your fulfillment, is that there's actually like an average is there too, in not just how many of the client relationships are going to work out really well. There's the Pareto's principle that says it's, only 20% ends up being the full volume of the 80% in terms of production. It's not just that, but it's also, you also have a percentage in terms of how many of the people that you recruit when you're scaling are going to be leaders, people that genuinely stick with you and will be there for the long term. And that's a really small amount as well, unless you're super lucky the first time, but then even then it all averages out. And you'd have to go through like a period of the season where you will not have that much luck that's coming in. So I always saw this from the physical aspect after I experienced all the mistakes that I made. But what I didn't see it from was from the spiritual aspect, and how like it was a reflection. And when you're looking to, within business, you're looking to get like fast success, you're looking to get really quick results, then as much as you might be able to get them fast, like I was saying, there's more hidden cost that comes with it. But if you pay the price upfront, then you don't have to pay it later on, or you pay a lot less later on, which is why sometimes like slower success, by having same goal, same ambition, but just delaying the gratification and delaying when you get paid, that can be not as painful. So it all depends on, just when you want to experience your pain. If you want to experience your pain first up front, then you experience long-term pain and long-term pleasure. Whereas if you want to experience your pain afterwards, then you experience short-term pleasure and then long-term pain for a certain duration, and then people kind of like quit really quickly. So it all depends how you want to go about it. But for me, when I experienced the spiritual debt that came from getting really quick results, I noticed that like this is because of the way that I was moving in terms of the personal growth and personal development that I was doing. Because even if you look at the word personal growth or personal development, it's all about you. It's really selfish. And so if that's the highest level of growth that you're working towards, then it's only going to have a certain limits towards what the intent can go towards. But in your spiritual growth, like there is something that extends beyond that, which is having intent that goes further than just what is there for the self. And this is what a lot of these new age books are doing. Like they're including a certain portion of the whole. So when you think about like, something like Christianity or Islam, any of these complete faiths and religions, they give a lot more than just here's how you make a lot of money. Like they also tell you how to navigate relationships. They also tell you how to treat your workers, or like whatever it is. So they just give a lot more holistic aspect. They tell you about health. Whereas with personal development, you can read like one book and it's just going to give you everything to get the one result there. Which, when you think about it, it's a bit like how my videos are. If you're watching this right now, like you might be in the whole personal growth, personal development space. Because when I put a title on this, it's like that title will have a particular payoff on there, like a result that you can personally gain. And so like my highest intention for the people here, like watching this video, is not that you just end up becoming a consumer and you are going to take all this in for yourself, apply it, and then do nothing with it. Now, my highest intention for you is not for you to follow me, but it's for you to become a leader. It's for you to actually go out there and overcome your selfishness and start being more selfless with others. Start sharing some of the insights, wisdom, the gifts that I'm, sharing with you today. That's the highest intention here. But again, like some of these new age books, they might have that intention. But the actual person going through it, reading it, like, you can be going in from a very selfish perspective. Like, here's how I can attract lots of money into my life without having to do much. So usually people who have got this really high ambition and drive, like this is actually something that you can learn from reading the book Think and Grow Rich, because like I've read all of them. In my first year of entrepreneurship, I literally read like 100 personal development books, and that was just the first year. I kept on going. I kept on consuming. So in Think and Grow Rich, like they talk about how desire for a person is the strongest when you look at sexual desire. And the other desire that's just as strong is the desire for love. But when you combine both of them, then that's like the highest desire that exists. So the thing is that the desire that you might have for your ambitious results and success, if you look at where it's going to be coming from, if it's a really strong desire, chances are like it's either from the sexual aspect or it's from the love aspect, or potentially both. And if you don't believe that it is, then either you're not ambitious or you're not self-aware. But what I'm basically sharing here is that like, if you're anything like me, I'm someone who, from a very young age, I've always seen myself, or I know I've been someone who has had like high testosterone levels through playing sports, and the difficult thing that I had to overcome in some of my earlier years, from being a teenager to like in my early 20s, was this spirit of lust that was within me. And so it's not just something that, if you've had to deal with this yourself, and you found it difficult, it's not just something that will be difficult within like relationships and dating, but lust in its essence is just wanting something without having to like really work for it. Like that is one of the best descriptions of what lust really is. It's that impulsive nature that just wants to gamble, bet on the result, and get a huge payoff. So within business, like how that shows up too is that you'll probably be the type of person that you run like so many different business models, and you've developed the shiny object syndrome. You're like, rather than staying loyal to one and putting in the genuine work that it requires, you are treating it as if it's a lottery ticket. You're just like putting in a little bit of money, a little bit of time, and then you might feel all of the sensations and excitement that occurs initially from the chemistry, but you aren't willing to go through the actual necessary part, which is the difficult phase, the boring phase, the painful phase. And if you think about in any relationship that's endured a long period of time, that phase is something that eventually will come when the passion is no longer the main thing that's within the relationships. Because even though you can sustain passion over a long time period, you will also have the practical aspect of the relationship that is involved too. It's not just the honeymoon anymore, but you've got things like bills to be talking about with each other. You've got responsibilities in the home, like who's going to be taking care of the child. When are you going to be going out to meet certain relatives and carry out certain legal tasks and things like that. So there's like a practical aspect that ends up coming, even though the passion can sustain. But the way that people will treat opportunities and their own businesses is that because they don't truly love their opportunity for what it is, not just for the benefits, then as soon as the benefits aren't showing, like they'll kind of disappear. And so that's what I'm saying about, like, you know, one of the most difficult things is if you have that spirit of lust, then it can manifest in so many different ways, not just within your sexual struggles. And that's something to be aware about. Like you may think that just because you're no longer going hard like in the dating scene, that now you have dealt with the spiritual aspect within. but the likelihood is that you haven't. You're just like putting it towards another area. And I think there's a big movement out there right now where, from what I've seen, like people are talking about to lots of guys, red pill advice, semen retention, nofap, things like that. Channel the energy towards your creative aspect, and I think that is beneficial to some degree, but it's not actually looking at like the root of the problem. It's more so looking at the surface level thing. The root is, the selfishness that exists within. Now, I'm not saying that you want to completely get rid of the sexual part of who you are, because at the end of the day, that's our human nature. That's how we've been designed. Like specifically, it wouldn't be part of our reproduction system if that wasn't the main purpose and intention. But what I'm saying is that there is moral sexuality and immoral sexuality. And if your sexuality has been perverted because of the way that it's been suppressed through just, either the environments that you've grown up in, or how you weren't able to express it, which is probably like a lot of people from the ones that I've spoken to, whether you've grown up in strict households or not, then chances are like there's going to be repressed desire that exists within as well. So dealing with that can really help, because then you can still be someone who is a sexual person but have more selfless intent, right? And have more purification within, because at the lowest level of intent, your intent is just simply impulsive. It's it's hyper animalistic, and it's all selfish. So when you're jumping into like certain business models, you can be getting initial success, but then by getting it through selfish means, there's going to be a hidden debt to that, of which you might not necessarily recognize until later down the line. Because this is one of the things that is I'd say a problem with social media, is that everybody is portraying a version of their lifestyle and success as if it's perfect. Why? Because that's how they attract customers that come in. I know it because it's what I was taught to do. And it can work. Like you can attract gullible people by doing that. But the reality is that those people will have the equal amount of good things in their life, as well as equal amount of things that go against their preferences. So everything that they're showing to you on the screen is like showing, yeah, my life is great, it's incredible. Which is why when it comes to like lifestyle content, I think it's somewhat dangerous to be getting engrossed within people that are putting out like short form lifestyle content and just showing you a glimpse into how they're living. It's giving you this false sense of connection where you feel as though you are also a part of their life, and you know what's going on, you know how they live, you know their personality, when really all you know is the version of themselves that they put out to the world. Like you don't really know that person. And this is part of the reason for why like I really personally like now love the long form content a lot more, and content that is getting to know like a person's soul, rather than just knowing the little snippets of what they dress like or what they like to eat. But yeah, as I was saying, like, with all of the sort of influence and movement that has emerged as of recent, it's meant that people have fallen prey and fallen victim to the promises that have been made by them. And part of that reason is the fault of the people who were the ones that portrayed the lifestyle. But then another aspect is that when you look at your own intent, the only reason that you're able to fall for it is because of the posture of your heart and the intent for why you're trying to acquire, like, more selfish benefits. Whereas if you're in everything that you're doing, you're not having this low level intent of just being impulsive, but it's more selfless, then you can still buy same things, you can still acquire same things, but you won't be fooled by the same things. And that's just the lowest level. So that's the impulsive level. Now, beyond that, you've got, like, I'd say more the subtle, dangerous part that I myself and that woman who, she'd become the millionaire over that time, we had fallen prey to, is the enemy's and the devil's way of being able to make even something that isn't necessarily the best option, which can get you results and success in the physical dimension. Hey, Satyrus, how we doing, man?
What's happening? You're right.
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. All good. Thank you very much. All well.
That's, I was just talking a little bit about it's a lot. I've been speaking for about 45 minutes, but what I was just talking about now was how there's different levels of intention. Where initially you've got more selfish intent, and then there's selfless intent. So the lowest level of selfish intent, there's like being impulsive and reacting to the desires that are coming up in the moment, which is where you have the least amount of freedom and control over your life. God has given us free will, but those people are the most enslaved. So at each level of intention where you're growing, like you're continually liberating yourself. And the next level of liberation is where you have built more self-control. And now, like, you are actually able to delay gratification, and you can reach goals that you've personally set for yourself. And this is where, like, a lot of the new age personal development, personal growth, doctrines and teachings have focused on that demographic of people. But with that, there comes a hidden cost and a hidden debt, which you may not necessarily experience or see on the surface, only until you actually go and put it into practice and then recognize that you did a deal with the devil. Because at the end of the day, like, that wasn't necessarily totally for the sake of God, like, you just did it personally for you. Whereas when you extend yourself beyond that, and now, like, you move into the selfless realms, the question that you start asking yourself is, not what can I do to get me the results, but what can I do to actually develop closeness and intimacy with God? And what you'll find is that, like, all of the things that are really available that can genuinely get you results are still available to you by going down this other pathway. It might not necessarily be as quick and as easy, but what I was talking about is how the spirit of lust, what it wants is, it wants quick and easy. Whereas the spirit of love, like, will actually be willing to go and share more in terms of paying up that price of success and not cutting corners. So it's all about cleaning your intent, and most people, when they're first getting started out, because if you're anything like me, then your intent from the very beginning was super selfish. So just to get to that next level where it's only a little bit selfish, you still intend to serve people. You still intend to, Salam, how are you doing?
Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I thought I'd get it on my one.
Yeah. Y'all in a new office, new environment, new studio. But I'd recommend flipping the screen so it's got both of you. Yeah, that
Or just get it on the laptop, isn't it?
Yeah, better.
It's up to you. But I've got to angle my.
My battery is cool.
Yeah, I don't know why, but you guys, the phone is still portrait, but I can see both of you.
Phone's not working.
Let's see.
I don't know why that does that. I think did it do it on mine as well when I was using my phone? Was it keeping it in the portrait as well? No,
it was fine. I'm sure. I don't remember.
I don't know. Well, I can see you. I can see you both for now anyway. If you want to get the laptop out, you can. But it's up to you. But yeah, you've distracted me now, and saying something very important. But it mustn't have been that important unless I truly remember. The main thing was around. Oh yeah, so where I started was super selfish, because it was all like coming from this lustful place. And I was actually saying something before that Yasmin, you might even relate to as well, is that, you know, if you do have that spirit of lust towards your goals, then that's when you kind of have that shiny object syndrome, wanting to skip the parts where it's not so intense with the passion and feelings. Once you go through the honeymoon phase, you want to go to the next thing.
Yeah, because it doesn't have the same effect on you anymore. Like you're not getting the same high out of it, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Intoxication.
It is, yeah. It's addictive, like you.
Yeah.
That's what makes you look for the next thing and the next thing, and also I think it's not only that, like you look for the least resistance. Like as soon as you hit, like that's what for me it was anyway. As soon as I hit something like it's a bit too difficult now, I'm like, and then just at that moment something else pops up that looks a bit easier, you know, and you're like, oh, that looks easier. It's like not easier than this one. Like, oh, let's try that one. But yeah, it's just. But
you was learning along the way as well.
Yeah, I was learning. I wouldn't say I haven't learned anything. I don't regret any of those things that I did and tried, and some did work actually. To be honest, some did work quite well. It's just that for whatever reason I couldn't stick to it. Maybe timing or
motivation.
I didn't enjoy it much as I thought I would. Yeah.
But this was something different.
This ticked like most of the boxes initially, isn't it? Especially the done for you, and then like seeing everybody in the event was like that was like a moment for me. I think a big one.
You'd never been to an event before, or just that event in particular?
No, I've never been to one like that.
So this is the thing as well, is like I've been to other events, and I've been to other events in other companies, other opportunities. It's really it's unique what you experience. That's not how most business events are like. Corporate events are not like that. They're a lot more formal, and the energy is like heavy. It's nowhere near the same. But yeah, like in terms of the other opportunities where you did get results, this is what I was actually just talking about, is that one of the things that I learned recently is that the same way that God and being submissive and obedient to His will allow you to then, still be able to experience your own desires. Just because you have got lots of success in the business world, or in terms of the desires that you aspire to have, that doesn't necessarily mean that they came from God or because of God. It could actually mean you've done a deal with the devil, and he
It's more
is
like a
still,
test thing.
he's still able to provide like the results in a certain way,
100%.
but it comes with a cost. It comes with a
Mhm. Yeah, like taking drugs, for example, or drinking or something where you get
Gambling.
some benefit, but there's a lot more harm to it than.
Yeah. So this is the thing, is like what I was learning was, you might have heard of who she is, but Lacey, who is one of the top earners within Enagic as well. She went on a podcast where she was talking about how she was doing things that were good things, and on the surface, everything mirrored what it talks about in religion, Islam, Christianity, etc. So because it was saying things like, here's your gratitude practice, like here's be more loving and come from a place of light, etc. On the surface, everything looks great, and you also do some delayed gratification to go and get it. So it doesn't look like gambling. It doesn't look like drugs. It doesn't look like the things that are like forbidden, and it's just obvious that that's going to have damaging effects because of how quickly it damages people and how severely. But there's a lot of things where on the surface it can look harmless, whereas you don't see what's going on and how much harm it's having on a person internally. So it was an enlightening conversation, but in the personal development world, what I'd be saying is that it's a similar thing. So the way that you had the shiny object syndrome for like businesses, that also exists for your personal growth and your spiritual growth. So you can have the shiny object syndrome there as well, and it can be even more intense because literally anyone and everyone, just like I am right now, like posting this video, anyone and everyone can now say that they've got a shiny new alternative.
That's better. Sorry, Mo.
It's all good.
Management.
Like you can still get this kind of object syndrome even if you've been in something for a while. It's always there because you're always like seeing ads or see something. There's always stuff coming at you, isn't it? And then you're like, oh, look at. But I think I'm more aware of it now, so I'm not caught as easily.
Yes.
Because of that's because of your guidance.
Yeah, business wise, like I'm not attracted to like if some new business idea or whatever. So I haven't even looked at anything. But there are like other things that still catch my eye. Like recently with the communication thing. I saw, the
Where?
Vin guy, Vin Zhang. I don't know if you follow him.
The Chinese guy.
He's Vietnamese, by the way. The Australian guy. Yeah. And I've been following for a while now. And I really like how he speaks, and he's funny and all that, right? And now his Black Friday sale went, and he had his whole like course on there for like £150 or something. Like cheap. And so I'm gonna get this. But then I felt guilty. I was like, should I be like buying anything else now? But it's something that's going to help me with what I'm doing now. So I thought, okay, it's worth it then because it's
Yeah, of course. And so what it kind of is there is like, this is something that I started to like. I was going deep into this, so looking at what Islam talks about when it comes to the ideal is that there are certain things that you can learn from other people because other people have gained skills, knowledge, and wisdom in that particular area to save you time. So that they're things that are permissible to learn from other people. Whereas there are other things that you can only truly learn or be blessed with from God. But sometimes people pay others to gain that because, again, they've got that spirit of lust and they just want something for nothing. So the thing there is that something like communication, yeah, that's a skill. If you're going to learn a skill-based thing that's genuinely something that will benefit like your growth in business, then you can always do that by learning from another human being. But if it's something that's like to do with, learning about certain manifestations or learning about the self-worth, like your belief, like just certain things end up becoming a little bit more blurred in terms of whether or not you want to be reading that book or watching that video. Yeah. So it's a discernment that you start to develop. And it's like this is why I'd say having someone that's more of a mentor as opposed to like just getting everything for free is so beneficial. It's because of that discernment in terms of knowing that the person that you're listening to is someone who is going to point you in the right direction for the right things. So yeah, you said that you've now got a communication course, and have you gone through it so far?
I'm going through it. It's really good, to be honest. And I don't want to just speed through it like I usually do, but when I buy something, like I just want to get to the end. I even watch the videos on like ×2 or whatever. But like that's why I'm going slow because I want to do the practice whatever's taught for that. And then go to the next one like that. So slowly. But it's like today I was practicing some stuff and so it's fun. It's fun at the same time. So and the kids find it amusing because I'm using all these funny voices and trying to like sing and whatnot. So good.
Yeah. So this is the thing as well, is like the advice that I was personally given by one of my early mentors. I think it's great advice. Is that when it comes to like investing into personal growth and development, if you go and ask any successful entrepreneur, have they ever invested into themselves? They're always going to tell you that not only have they invested into themselves, but they've spent like tens of thousands.
Yeah, I've heard that like a lot.
Yeah, and this is even by entrepreneurs that are failing, like they invest tens of thousands. So the guy that I was just talking to before, he also built a business to, I think it was 6 figures or something like that, similar time frame. And he was just telling me, like, for one coach, one person who was terrible, he paid like $4,000 for, and barely gave him anything, just a few coaching calls here and there. So this is the thing, is that it's almost like your artistry is not just going to be in terms of how you will use your time. It's also going to be in what do you do with your money. And like for me, I got that advice from one of my mentors that basically said that every single month, you always want to be investing your money. because
Something, yeah.
especially if you're having income coming in, part of that income always wants to be for investment purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Struggled with that, to be honest.
Like, no, but like you mean investing in yourself,
Yeah.
like with this thing or whatever that you think is gonna.
That's
benefit.
one aspect of it. So when it comes to investing, it's like most people, what they'll do, because they have that spirit of lust as well, is like they're just going to go for things that can promise them financial returns, and that's it. So that's a fool's way of doing it, because the best asset that you can truly invest into is you.
Yeah.
So the ideal is that you are continually investing money into yourself, but at the same time, you also want to be investing into the second aspect, which is your own business, and thinking about how can you invest into assets within your own business. And it doesn't always have to be just things that generate direct results in business. One of the things that I personally invested into over this last year has actually been into my personal brand, and more into my understanding with it, number one, in terms of a couple of courses that I bought. But then the second aspect was in the setup and my camera, my lighting, my studio. So that's
That's the next thing I want to do, is like invest in some sort of space for me where I can, like when you step into that, like you said the last time, step into that space and you like go into this different frame of mind, and you
I mean, where you are right now looks pretty good. Where's that?
it's in the kitchen, but the other way.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Little
I
town
mean,
in Chesham.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be moving soon.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Well, that will be the place where you can get your proper setup once you actually go.
Yeah, if we get the place that we're going for, then we'll have
Just hoping for
there'll
good
be a
news.
space.
Yeah, I mean, if it's meant to be, it'll be. You know?
If it's meant to be, it will
It's
be,
meant to be.
inshallah.
Yeah.
If
God
not that,
will.
then something else better. That's what I think. Anyway.
What's that?
If it's not that, then there'll be something better.
Yeah. Exactly. So
One door closes, another door opens.
always. And what I was saying is that, like, you want to invest into your business is the second thing. So there's the external things of the business, which are not like directly going to grow your business, but still will lower the costs for your business, which you've kind of been doing with your content, personal branding, etc. But then there's also the direct things which will generate you income in your business by investing into things like advertisements as the quickest way that you can probably generate results, and then also investing into outreach systems, softwares, automations, etc. And then finally, what's that?
Lighting
is more indirect, because it will lower the costs, potentially, not proven, but it can lower the costs. Let's say, for example, you're doing a video and it's a horrible background, horrible setup, and people are clicking off of the video because of how much they hate it. Then I mean, it can lower the costs. But to be honest, some people that I've seen have literally, like, for example, 18, 19-year-old kids in Australia who are doing it from their parents' house, and I barely got a setup at all, but they are just using their phones and making their content like that, and still getting to 5-figure months. So, like, it's not necessary to invest in the external things. That can become a distraction more than anything.
I agree with that.
The direct ways are gonna probably give you the most benefit, because this is the thing that I was just explaining to the guy that I was just talking about, the other entrepreneur. Welcome, Taha, by the way. I've seen you sneak in. But what I was explaining to this guy as well is that, like, there's no personal development that's going to beat just playing the game.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you have a game that you can pay to play within, which is like the game of advertisements, every month that you invest into ads, you're literally paying not just for the results of your business, but you're paying for personal growth when you view it from that frame. So if I look at, like,
I never really thought about that. Yeah, to be honest.
yeah, if I look at, like, where did I learn the most from? Was it from reading a book? Was it from paying for a mentor, watching YouTube? Like, I've learned a lot of knowledge from that, but in terms of real experience and wisdom, that's come from just paying to play the game. What thousands, and that's what people come to me for, in terms of, like,
Experience.
we can't get what you did anywhere in the books, mentors. We have to directly get it from you. So then it then just makes you a lot more valuable in that sense as well, because your story is unique.
Yeah.
But if you go and buy somebody else's course, there's thousands of people that have bought that course. You know, so they have that same knowledge. But when you pay to play, like, in terms of personal growth, that will be the number one way that you will get your personal growth. Like, me and, again, like, we were having this conversation talking about how no one had taught us anything that we experienced as the biggest pains and mistakes that we'd made. And it's like, well, the reason no one taught us is because we learn everything else that was being taught. We didn't learn this stuff that wasn't being taught. We had to experience that failure.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it doesn't exist in the marketplace. Otherwise, we would have taken it on board. We would have learned that stuff. And so it's going to be the same thing for you too, where, like, everything that you can possibly learn that you're gravitating towards learning, you'll learn that initially, but then even if you was to spend 50,000, 100,000 on your personal growth, and you get connected with the right people, you elevate your consciousness, intelligence, etc., there's still certain things that you can't learn from them compared to what the game will teach you.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. And you'll know that from posting your content. You'll know that, like, there's just certain things that's done for you that you couldn't learn from me.
Yeah.
So
Like, you get advice and things, but until you actually do it, then you don't.
Of course.
Know.
Yeah. So if you want to scale that, aspect of your growth, then you pay to play the game, and you just pay more and more and more. And basically what I'm saying is that every £5 or every £10, £100, whatever measurement you want to say, every £100 of personal development that you get from a book compared to every £100 that you spend on, like, growth within your own business, direct ads and stuff like that, gives you a certain return on your personal growth. So the return on personal growth that you get from reading a book or spending £100 on the personal development stuff, that gives you maybe like let's say a 5x return. But when you invest into your business and, like, the direct benefits that can come from that can give you like a 50x return. It's like 10 times more. And it doesn't appear like that because there's just so much knowledge and wisdom that can come from reading a book. But the best example of that I can give you is someone like, one of my cousins, Osman, who has just recently got married to his dream wife from California, had his wedding in LA, and is now, like, starting to scale his own tutoring business. When I asked him, how many books have you read? how many events have you been to? How many coaches, mentors have you had? He's like, apart from you, barely anything. Like, I told him to read Alex Hormozi's book. He's like, no, I've not read that. I just read a little. Most of it, he just literally figured out by every single month spending money on ads.
Right. Yeah.
That was
I think I have this problem when it comes to learning. I don't have the balance between learning and doing yet. I'm doing a lot more now than I would have previously, but I still get caught in the, oh, let me learn this. Like, I need to learn this first, or I need to know how to do this first, or I need to have some sort of system first, or whatever. But like
learning to swim before you can swim.
Yeah, like I want to still stay in the paddy
But there's some
get into the sea.
But there's some parts of the sea or swimming pool you can get into and dip your feet into, and then you can take it from there.
Yeah.
So
some are deep, some are not deep.
Yeah. So here's the thing: is that the thing that makes it difficult is that, number one, nobody likes to be wrong. Number two, if you're going to be wrong and you're going to be wrong in public, no one likes that either. And then if you're wrong in public and it's going to cost you money, like that's 3 reasons to not want to be wrong. So what's happening is that it's like you're doing everything that you possibly can in order to avoid being wrong, when the way to be right is to be wrong first. Like,
to know where you're going, to know the road.
Yeah, you've got to go through it, and the thing will be too is like the more that you personally delay this, then I'd say there's 2 things that can potentially happen. But in again, like in Islam, the people talk about the best believers are the ones that are usually the biggest skeptics before they end up converting, because when they were doing all of their research, like they've looked at all the things that another person would have as doubts in their heart, whereas as the skeptic, they've gone through that, like they've overcome all those objections for themselves to close themselves on it. So for you, it's like, what you're learning now is this is closing, and constantly, like as a leader, what we're doing is we're just closing ourselves all the time, closing ourselves, and it's difficult because unless you're going to set time in the day to really pull out these objections from you, the fears, then it's going to be difficult to do that. So what is closing? I think that's a good question to answer here. If I was to ask you that, like, what do you think closing is?
Closing a deal.
And I think it's like overcoming all the objections, like you said, and being comfortable with all the reasons given for the objection or the answers to them. Because you're not going to be 100% satisfied with anything, with everything. But it's then you're still willing to go ahead. I got it wrong.
What were you going to say, Idris? What were you going to say?
It's closing. Closing means finishing, finalizing, closure. Going to the final stage.
Yeah, spot on. So, Yasmin, you also gave like the process of how to do it, but Idris, you said what it is, and what it is it's like closing the door. So when you think about an opportunity, you also used the phrase before about how when one door closes, another door opens. And with opening, the door to someone, you're opening the opportunity to them. And that's what you're very good at doing, Yasmin, is like stepping into everyone's doors.
Invited or uninvited.
Yeah. It's like, let me walk through this door. Let me walk through this door. These are all open doors. Great. But then there's also the ability to close the door, right? So that the person can't come back out. And then once they're in the door, like, they're in. That's what closing is.
Like a golden door.
And then showing them the next door that they gotta go to.
Exactly, because once you go through one door, there's like a series of doors. So, like in initially acquiring someone who's going to be a client, like there's the doors that they'll go through there. The door of maybe looking at your ad, looking at your content, speaking to you, looking at some testimonials, and then finally coming through as the client. They went through a series of doors, but then with the way that it will be in terms of once they're actually on board, there's going to be a series of doors there as well, where they're going to become successful as that fulfillment.
Yes.
And that's kind of like where you're at right now. Is like, so what I'm doing with you is I'm closing you to the next stage of the process.
Yeah.
And the more that you're actually good at being able to do this for yourself, the more that you become less dependent on your mentor, and you can be closing without me. I think we kind of spoke about this before, is like giving you that experience that I give you towards the end of the call, where you're like, I know what to do.
Except this one, just for some reason I think, okay, I'm gonna, but
yeah. So this is what I'm saying, is that if I can teach you closing, you will be able to like get through this really easily. So we know that closing, we know that closing is bringing something to an end, like closing the door on something, and opening is opening up the opportunity. So when you look at like making ads or spending money on ads and stuff like that, do you think that you've walked through that door yet?
No.
Or do you think, okay,
I'm at the, what you call it?
Just about to make stage.
What you call it?
you
The
can,
entrance.
you can see the doors, right?
I'm at the entrance.
You can, the entrance. You walk
I even
past
got
it.
my hand on the handle, I'd say.
But you just haven't opened the door.
I
Well,
just haven't opened the door yet.
Yeah.
She's waiting. I don't know what I'm waiting for.
So this is the thing, right? So there's lots of doors. There's there's one big red door or green door, and it says ads on it. It says his lead generation, his business. There's that one door there. There's another door that's like, here's communication. There's another door that's like, here's an event. There's another door that's like,
I just walked through the communication doors today.
and somebody closed the door on you as well. So that's another thing that you got to give them credit for. But you also allowed them to close that door on you too. So nobody can ever close a door unless you allow that to happen. Like that's a fact. But sometimes like buying other things or walking through the doors is kind of good in business, because it can teach you how to be a good buyer, which then helps you to understand more about why people buy stuff. So if you never buy anything, then like you don't know why people buy stuff. But if somebody, like one of the best things that I actually did was buying another person's program, because it was like, oh man, the way that you just made me feel to just go and buy that thing. This is what I want my people to feel like when they buy something from me as well. How did you do what you just did? And that then became the value, not necessarily what they were.
Process of them selling you the stuff. Yeah. That's so true, that. Because sometimes you buy that, like this now, for example. Like I was just happy to pay that price. And to be honest, even if it was at full price, I would have still considered it. Or made a plan or did some payment option or something.
So now the question is why?
Hmm.
I think partly because
For me,
it is something I want to learn, to develop. Right. So, but the way he teaches, I think, I mean, you've been seen his videos, in it, that guy.
what, the Wang
Vin
Yang guy,
Vin Jang.
Zheng,
Yeah,
mashallah, he's very
it's,
good.
and
though.
it's just like,
He's very good.
I don't know, it's a different approach I think he's using to selling.
Yeah. Just the way it's the effort. It's the effort that he's putting into
and
his
his
videos.
videos are not like just like your normal
Mashallah.
sort of
Yeah,
talking head videos. They actually make like a lot of effort to make skits and
he does.
make it
It's good.
funny and relatable and stuff. So it's great.
So you want to watch more of it? Naturally.
Yeah. So when you made your purchase, do you feel like the reason for why it was made is because you made it based off of the price, the cost, or the value?
The value, definitely.
Okay. So you were more so looking at what you could potentially receive, and what was the most appealing thing to you of what you could get?
Just improvement in my communication. Because
Yeah.
I've seen some of his testimonials of people that have come in and they're like worse than what I am, and then they're just like all of a sudden standing on the stage and they're like speaking like professionals, and you're like, whoa, I want to do that.
So look at how look at what that reveals is that you didn't buy the features, you didn't buy the deliverables, you didn't buy the based off of the price, you didn't really buy because of all of the information. What you bought was the transformation, and you bought the eventual person who you're going to be, which is that person is communicating on stage effortlessly to hundreds of people. Like that's what you bought.
Yeah.
So that's one aspect. Now, another thing that's interesting there is that there are usually 4 different types of buyers in general within business. So you've got like the split down the middle, which is masculine and feminine. So some buyers are buyers that will buy based off of the masculine, and I'm quite like that. So I'll buy if you give me all the information upfront, and I can do all research. So I'm a very practical buyer to some degree. But then another type of buyer is someone who they're an action taker, and they will buy because you add a little bit of scarcity in there. It's like
FOMO,
Black Friday, promo, limited spaces. And on the feminine side, you've got people that will buy based off of the emotion. So it's like the story that's in there. That's like very much like, Mind Valley type of sales videos and how he tells a story. Very emotional.
Impulse buyers.
Doesn't always have to be.
How make you feel, like how they make you feel.
You buy based off of just the fact that they made you feel something. That's why you bought.
Yeah.
Like you don't buy because of the features. It's just if they make you feel good, you'll buy.
Yeah.
Which is why they're actually some of the most dangerous buyers to themselves, because you could
they can make you feel bad as well.
Why do you think I've been in a cycle for like 5 years?
Yeah, they could make you feel bad, and they could also make you feel good, but then not offer you something that was good.
Yeah.
So
in the end,
emotional buyers is kind of a dangerous buyer to be. But the other type of buyer is a social buyer. So a social buyer is somebody that will buy because they just see that loads of the people are getting results, or they'll see that it's becoming a trend thing. Like lots of the people are doing it, so I might as well jump on board. So I think that we have all of these archetypes within us, but there's going to be some that are more dominant than others. The ones that you kind of revealed to me there is that number one thing was that you bought because of the story, which shows like a bit of an emotional buyer in there. You bought because of the Black Friday sale, so there was a little bit of the action taker in there. And you also bought because there was lots of testimonials. There's the social aspect there. The one thing that you didn't really say was, I bought because I did loads of research. This was the best guy within communication. So that doesn't show like the practical aspect. Whereas for me, like I'm very practical, and I will research the whole industry. I will look at like, who's the best people, and then I'll go and make my purchase. So knowing how you buy will also most likely attract people that will be buying like you if you want to be targeting people who are similar to yourself. So when you're thinking about how you're putting together your ads and your videos and things like that, it's a good idea to lean into that aspect. So for example, like when you think about, the Enagic opportunity, if you was to focus on the social buyers, the main thing that you would want to be focusing on is the community. Like you would just literally be selling the benefits of the fact that, I went to this amazing event. It was incredible. First time that out of all these other things that I've invested into, I actually got to go and meet other women just like me who had the same values, same principles, and were able to connect. I made so many friends, and it was an amazing day. If you just talked about that one day again and 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 again in your content, so many people would be like, wow, how can I get to one of those things? Like that sounds awesome. And you can just sell that, right? So that would be if you want to focus on the social aspect of how people buy. Now, another way that, you said that you buy is like the emotional. So that would be, how could you get somebody to feel something before they buy? And it's either going to be through you sharing your story, another person's story, or highlighting to them to what their story can be like. So I tend to do that quite often because I do tell my own story, but I also, whenever I'm like speaking one-to-one with a person, I will rewire their story and like rewrite their story with them. And then when they start feeling, super inspired, they just ask me the question, what happens next? It's like they're not even asking about the product, but they're asking about what's the next part of the story then. Because we've got here, and this sounds epic because of the way that you've reframed my story. Now I'm inspired to move to the next part of the story. So that's how I do it, like on a one-to-one basis. But then with the other part, so we've got the emotion, and then the other part you said was like the action taker. And this is where like, you just adding in a little bit more of the urgency or the scarcity towards some of the bits of content that you're putting out kind of makes it feel like what you've got has more perceived value. So you could be saying a little bit more like, hey, I've got this specific offer that I'm putting out at the weekend, or just for this month only, for Christmas, New Year's is a great time for this, Like, listen, this next year I've got a goal. My goal is to help 20 ladies become financially free. And we have to start from January until December. So because of that, I'm only going to be recruiting these people for this specific sprint in December. So make sure that you fill out the application or send me a DM before New Year's Eve. And if you're able to, then we can get you kickstarted off for the next year. And you'll see like brands are really good at doing this, because they're always doing like Black Friday sales. They're always doing Christmas, New Year's. They pounce on these things, and that's for the action takers, right? Yeah. So it's certainly something that's come up a few times for yourself. I've heard like before you saying, oh, Balazs was doing this thing and he was going to raise the price. So I was going to
still there.
Yeah.
That's why the objective is still there.
Yeah. So knowing that like it's enticing for you, you want to now be thinking about how can I entice people a similar way. If it works for me, it'll work for them too. I was actually saying to Balaj when I met him in LA recently was that what always gets me to take next level action is whenever they put out like a crazy incentive for the leaders, like 3 times in a row it worked. When they put out an incentive for the leaders, I was like getting so much FOMO to not be in that room. I was like, I have to be in that room because all the best people are going to be there. And like I would just feel terrible if I wasn't in that room. And that would always get me to buy into taking more action, get me to buy into actually, spending more on ads and stuff like that. So, what was that for me? What was I buying into out of those 4 things? Again, it was the action taker aspect. It was, this is a limited thing. It's only going to be for this event that's going to happen. We only do these events once or twice a year. So it's not gonna be available ever again. And that just gets me going in my mind. I'm like, I can't miss out. Right. So yeah.
When you say like this, right? Okay, say I put out an ad now for what you said, like 20 women or 20 moms over the next 12 months. In my head, I'm thinking, oh shit, like what do I give them for the next 12 months? I don't know what to give them. Like what do I do? Just put them in the school community and then what? Like then I'm responsible for these people now, like you are responsible for us. I think that that holds me back a little bit because I feel like maybe I can't manage that responsibility.
Okay. So what if you looked at your business different and you didn't see it like it's just you?
That's what I was just going to say. Once they're in the school, once they get this
but then I'm the one that brought them in there. I don't want them.
Yeah. So look at it from this perspective. Like you're a business owner right now. Okay, so that's your main frame. And you are the founder of your own business. But as a business owner, you can also make partnerships, right? So one of the best partnerships that you've made is with Enagic.
Yeah.
They take care of all of the fulfillment in terms of making sure that when they eventually buy something, like they'll be happy with the product that they bought. That's a third of the significant part of business that has been taken care of, because in business, you've got sales, marketing, and delivery. So with the delivery, like Enagic takes care of like 90% of that.
Yeah.
You can add on anything extra there, but anything that you do give is a bonus. Unless you're charging extra, unless you're saying like you got to pay for a machine and then you've also got to pay me. Unless you're doing that, like you don't have to worry about fulfillment on that side. So the other 2 aspects of it is the sales and the marketing. And the marketing, let's take care of that first, is another simple one. Even before marketing, let's talk about sales. So with sales, you have also made another partnership here, which is you partnered with me.
Yeah.
So now, like, you don't have to be worrying so much about, taking care of that part, because the same way that Enagic takes care of the product fulfillment, I'm the one that takes care of the actual sale. And the thing is that even though with the way that we ran the Done For You, all of the sales didn't necessarily like fulfill the same way that we would have wanted to. When people actually jumped on the phone with me, my conversion rate was ridiculously high, like almost 80%. In fact, for the first few months, it was practically 100. Once we got it figured out and we got our first client, Josie, after that, practically 100% of the people that could be closed were closed. So with the closing, that's never been an issue. The main issue was with what we call appointment setting. So appointment setting is how you actually set a call, and then the closer is able to spend a lot of time speaking with them. And you've kind of seen what I'm like when I can jump on a phone call with someone. I can talk to them for hours, and
But you
they'll
got to do
be
that pre-qualification before it gets to you.
yes, that's it. So pre-qualification is the part of sales that me personally, I can't do that for everyone that I partner with. It's just it doesn't work at scale. I can do closing for the majority of people because I was looking at like a video by Cole Gordon, who is he's about 32 years old, but his business is now doing 30 million a year. He's the number one. He's got the number one closing company in the world, Closers.io. And the thing with him is that he was saying that every closer, when he puts them into a company, he says that every closer should be taking between 5 to 10 closing calls a day. Right? I was never taking anywhere near between 5 to 10 closing calls a day. I maybe have been taking maximum, I think it was like 5 to 10 closing calls in a week.
Wow.
Not 5 to 10 in a day. So I'm looking forward to the time where I can start taking 5 to 10 closing calls in a day. Because then what will happen is the beautiful thing there is I won't just close like one-to-ones with people. I'll start closing in group settings with people. I'm going to start closing, and there's one-to-many, selling from stage. And to be honest, I've done it. I've actually done that before, where I was working with Luke and Anthony and some of my original like dev, and they would put people onto a call a bit like this, right? So people would come in, and then I just did my presentation, closed them, and then did all the forms, and they came afterwards. So we know the one-to-many can work as well, and that means with the closing, there's no issue when it comes to scaling. The issue comes with the actual appointment setting. And what we were doing was mostly setting appointments through phone calls. So we would call a person, and after we called them, we would qualify them over about a 45-minute conversation. And then after that 45-minute conversation, they'd come through and go on a closing call. So the 45-minute conversation that we were having was not very efficient in terms of being able to scale that, because 45 minutes with every person was a lot to do, a lot of effort for each person. And so it became a thing where it was like, even though you knew that, okay, there's the potential for me to make a lot of money, I can make 2 to 3K by having 1 to 2 of these conversations a day, nobody really wanted to do it. That was a big thing. If it was a 5-minute conversation, fair enough. Now, on the other extreme, it's like that's not been the only way that we did have people set calls. Anthony, for example, I mean, he had some of the easiest sets ever, where he just literally sent somebody a text message. And after he sent person one text message, they were like, yeah, I'm interested. Afterwards, he sent a link to one of our videos, of which they then filled out a form. And after they filled out a form, came to the call, and I was able to do my close.
Wow.
And one of the text messages that worked, I think this was one of our best sales that we ever did. It was like Carlton was trying to message a woman called Natasha, and he messaged the wrong Natasha. He ended up saying to that wrong Natasha, he said, oh, are you ready for the call at 5 p.m. today? And she was like, yeah, why not? And
when people see that as fate, and it was.
I mean, it worked. It worked. So she said, yeah. Anthony gave her a call then, and they did have like a 45-minute conversation, but he didn't have to go through sifting and sorting for, you know, all of the people that were rejecting him. This was a person that was like, yeah, I'm interested. So
That's
that worked great. And then the same day, practically, like we did the presentation, and she was happy to come on board. So that was something that was really simple. So text message game is something that is.
So what would be my process now? Let's walk me through like what you think my process should be.
Yeah, I'm getting that. What I'm basically saying is that, okay, we've done the delivery part. That's taken care of. That's 30%.
Yeah.
Another 15% is the closing. That's taken care of. Another 15% is we got to get somebody onto a call that's actually qualified.
Yeah.
Right. And before, the way that they were doing it was saying that person has to be qualified for the 15, 20K. Otherwise, I'm not getting on a call with you.
Qualified,
Yeah. So if they weren't qualified for that, I was like, I don't care. I'm not talking to them because I've got priorities in terms of serving my clients that have to get these higher deals.
Yeah.
So now that we've actually got like the, you know, the low ticket offers, the mid ticket offers, and everything in between, then, you know, I'm more than happy to be taking a lot more calls with people because we actually have a way to, you know, kind of convert these people, right? So the qualification is a lot easier, and that's a 15% of the process, which can be either through a phone call, which I like to do. I do like to jump on the phones because it gets me good feedback. It gets me to learn quick. It gets me better at closing. But to be honest, volume beats quality every single day of the week when it comes to this part of the game. And if you could, for example, you know, be sending 20 text messages to one person versus calling them once, it's way better. So there's email.
It's better for me also, to be honest, because I'm not always able to just get on a call. That would be very difficult for me in the day.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that there's email, which is good because email, people do open them. What I noticed was that when I was sending emails, I was getting anywhere between like a 10 to 20% open rate. But the thing with email is that like people, it's not as direct. It's more indirect most of the time, nurturing your list, unless you're sending them a direct message like that. So that's the thing with email. But like with a text message, in comparison, you know, Anthony broke it down to me. He was like, yo, you do realize the open rates for text message compared to email is 95% people open their text messages compared to email. Send text messages, it works. So he proved that because he actually was putting in way less effort, getting a lot better results. I just was far removed from the process that I didn't even know what was going on. I was focusing on my closing. But because he was like the head of appointment setting, he knew that text messages were the things that were working best for him. So out of all those three, which ones do I recommend? It's making sure that you've got like a really solid text message follow-up process involved, which can be automated, but also non-automated. So you can automate it by getting all the techie stuff set up, which isn't really that difficult, but it's things like ManyChat or Zapier. I taught Luke how to do it in a day. It's really not hard, but you set that up and then people will get given like a certain amount of text messages once they've opted in, right? And they'll respond to the text message, click on it, and then they'll go through into the funnel.
So that is like a mini funnel in itself, the text messages as they go through them.
All of this is a funnel. This is a whole funnel, but there's many funnels within funnels, you know, because remember, it's like the doors. There's just doors.
I'm just trying to get a picture in my head now. So if I put an ad out now, am I asking like for a phone number then instead of email?
The more that you get, the better, right? So the thing is, when I first started off, I just used to get emails, and it's horrible because although, like, you know, people could go through the automated funnel, if they didn't, that email was worthless to me. So there's getting an email. After the email, I started to get Instagram handles. I'd ask for an Instagram handle, and that's good. I like Instagram handles because you can do research on a person beforehand. So you can actually like see, oh, they're a mum, or they're a woman, they're a man, they're a young person, they're someone who likes personal growth, they like this. Like, you can do a lot of research beforehand. So that's really great, because when you've got intel, then you can tailor your approach to that specific person, and personalization always works a lot better than generic, because it doesn't feel as scammy, right? It feels a lot more genuine, and you can connect with them quicker. So I like to get a person's Instagram. I also love to get a person's phone number, because to get into an Instagram conversation can be a little bit difficult, since the person has to follow you back. The person also might be getting Instagram DMs from so many different people all the time. Whereas when you have a phone number, like, it's rare that a person will receive text messages daily from a phone number. Emails, that's like the highest place that people get targeted. Instagram, people get targeted a lot there now as well. But a phone, text messages, WhatsApps, like, no one's doing that. It's big room for opportunity there. So those are the three things that I would acquire in terms of contact information, as the main things, especially with the brand that you've got on Instagram, is like, if you can get an Instagram, if you can get a phone number, and you can get an email, all three of those are ideal. I'd still get email, just because like, you can always do email marketing, which is indirect.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the marketing aspect, which is the thing that you want to be taking care of. So you take care of the marketing, right? You get phone numbers, emails, and Instagram handles, and then you text people, if that's the primary way that you want to bring people through. Now, when you text people, like, you can send three types of text messages. You can send text messages that are written, which again work really well for the generic. But if you want more personalization,
Voice one, yeah, right.
Voice and videos are incredible. Videos, especially if they're like authentically done. You know, just, yo, what's going on? Like, it's me. Like, that makes people feel really special. So
I haven't really seen people do much of that, to be honest.
Sending you video messages? Yeah, exactly. It stands out.
Yeah.
Everyone would open a video message. That's one thing you can be sure. And again, with Tasha,
can that be automated though? Like, now that you get like the automated text messages through Instagram,
it can be automated. It's just going to be generic, because
it's not personal.
Unless you set up like an AI where every time that a person came through, it would know to change the person's name when it made a new video. It'd make a new video every time. It'd get expensive. So automating that for personalization wouldn't be the best thing. But that's the whole idea with like having a landing page, is that it's an automated video message that you send somebody when they become a lead. So you can have a similar thing where you have a VSL essentially, but the intention with the VSL is not necessarily to take them to the next step and educate them about your whole offer. The intention is just to connect. And that can be a short 30-second or minute video that you send to everyone. You know, you could instead of just saying, hey, it's Yasmin, and not saying their name, you can acknowledge them a different way. You can just acknowledge them by saying, hey, it's Yasmin. I've just seen that you came through my ad, and I can tell you're an aspiring business owner or someone that wants to change their life, and then just go through the rest of the thing and be really quick
honest,
with it.
If someone sent me a video reply like that,
you'd pay more attention.
Yeah, I'd pay more
yeah.
attention. I'd be like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, the only thing you wouldn't do is be able to leverage their name. But the thing with responding to people, what I've personally found is that the speed to which you respond is the most important thing. With
But be prepared to just
that
immediately
process.
do a short few second video and welcome them or whatever and send them.
Yeah.
to the next
So what
one.
I'm saying is, like, if it took you an hour to make a 2-minute video because you're trying to make it perfect and then send it to them, versus just sending them a text message 30 seconds after they came through, that text message is always better.
Of course.
Right.
Always, yeah, of course.
Okay, so
Because the
depending on
person-
what you're doing at that moment, then you
Yeah,
decide,
people
am I
want
sending a
something
text or am I
straight
sending
away.
a video?
So that part can be automated. You can automate a person that comes through an ad and, like, you just, as soon as they click on it, they get a text message. That can easily be automated. It can be automated with a video and it can be automated with a text.
But it's generic.
Yeah. And then what can also be automated is a follow-up process where you continue texting them for a few days. And I think you can also automate it so that if a person replies, then they get taken out of the sequence.
Right.
So okay, so we just say we send the first video message. Let's prioritize the video over the text. The text would be only in a circumstance where you're not able to do a short video, right?
Can be
So
either.
what are we saying in that first message?
Mainly, it's going to be
The intro.
yeah. It's just.
I mean, am I leading them towards, like, oh, watch? Are we going to watch like a short video or presentation, or are we going to go straight into, like, what are we doing?
Yeah. So this is where I'd say, like, this is your opportunity to do a little bit of sales, because if you, for example, just send them a video and say, click the link below, dive straight in, that's already what the ad has done. So the ad is taking them to the next step. Now they're on the next step. This part of the process, the main purpose of it is qualification.
Right.
Connection and qualification. Those are the two things.
Yeah.
Connection.
Well, you're just letting anyone in.
Yeah. And you don't have to have, like, a whole, like, 2-hour call conversation to have that depth of connection. I like to do that kind of stuff personally, like, because I like to go for the connections, but you don't have to do that. You can go for.
I literally can't do that. I'll be honest with you. I cannot do that.
Which is
for
great.
many
You know,
reasons.
that's why you should be in the position that you're in, and I should be in the position that I'm in, because you're going to do better at the width, whereas I do better at the depth. So if you think about Energic's, like, compensation plan as well, it requires both to succeed, and I've mastered depth. Like, really, like, people who are at even the dashes, well, not the dashes, but like 6A2, they don't have as much depth as I have. They've told me, it's like, they said, we got the width, we just make loads of direct sales. So you are going to be somebody that has crazy width as well, just because you're going to do lots of volume in short bursts. So yeah, with the way that you want to approach this, like I said, the purpose is connection and qualification. And then the question is going to be, what level of connection? Now that level wants to be, because there's like 5 levels, you don't have to have full soul level connection. But what I would say is that it doesn't want to be just surface level. It wants to be, as a minimum, like some form of emotional connection. If you have an emotional connection, immediately, like, you will be at the top of their mind when it comes to opportunities, because they'll be like, yeah, this person gets me. So you want to have that emotional connection. How do you get an emotional connection with someone?
Something in common?
Something in common helps. But
Yeah, I mean, we could say that we're both from the same country. Would that be an emotional connection?
Could be.
It could be, yeah. It's potentially to be, yeah.
What would make it an emotional connection? Like 100%.
Maybe some of the circumstances, maybe like that I like so me, 2 years ago. Someone
When you were 2 years younger?
when I was like still looking for something to do basically online, and I couldn't find the right thing.
looking for this.
Yeah. Let me simplify it, right? So 2 types of emotions you can experience, either pain or pleasure.
Right.
Pain is the gap between your current state, your desired state.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you can figure out like what's their pain and in which area, that's an emotional connection. And especially if you share your pain first as well. So if you share your pain, because if they just share their pain, you'll feel connected to them, but they won't feel connected to you. So you want to share that connection by sharing your pain, of which if you're doing that a lot in your content anyway, then you won't need to do that as much. Like if they can go and scroll through that, then they get your pain, or you can refer them to that. But if you are going to listen to their pain, then what you want to be listening for is an emotional pain within one of the 6 areas of emotional needs. So Tony Robbins describes it as certainty, uncertainty, significance, growth, contribution, and love and connection. So you want to find out like which one of these pain points is the one that for them like is the most important. And an easy question that you can ask there is like, what's the biggest frustration that you're experiencing in your life right now? Person's going to say like, yeah, I'm just having a terrible time with my husband. He's he's not treating me well, or my kid.
Oh man, I can relate. I can act it. I'm good at acting.
Yeah. Or it could be, I got a bad business. I like, whatever it is, they're gonna share that pain after you ask that question. So now you got the emotional connection. But also the good thing about this too is that you're actually qualifying as you're connecting. So you can be doing both at the same time. It doesn't have to be I get a connection first and then I qualify. It's more about like, can you do both of this all in one? So it doesn't feel like you're just trying to follow a bunch of steps. Because this is something that it can be automated, but it really doesn't want to be, especially when, you're at the level that you're at, you only have so much ad spend. And even at a larger scale, like what people are doing is they're getting virtual assistants and getting them to do a similar thing. So there's the connection, and you got the emotional connection now. Then there's the qualification. So in order to take them to the next step, which would really just be like a call with myself, that would require that their time. What's that?
What are they doing with their time? Maybe.
So you can qualify a person based off of resources. Resources is money, time, capacity. And if they're saying that like, yeah, I've got all the money in the world, but I can't give you 20 minutes to watch a video before I jump on a call, that's not the right person.
Yeah.
And that's how you can actually take it from a perspective of, okay, truly your role is not even to qualify, it's to disqualify. And that puts you into an authoritative space, because even though in the beginning you're not going to have like a whole calendar that's booked up, you still want to treat it like that is the case. So you might not be fully booked in terms of prospects, but you're still fully booked in terms of your life. right? I'm
Yeah.
only taking on one person today. It's a full slot of stuff. So you're disqualifying. You're only working with the best person that day. And
The right people.
Mhm.
yeah, it's like if you ain't this person, thank you, but this opportunity is not for you. You get to say that to them, not them saying that to you.
Yeah.
So
That's
now now you sit in this frame where it's like a bit like what it's like when you're going for a job. You know, whenever you're going for a job, the time you feel as though you're selling yourself to them because they have the money. But when you get better at sales, you get better at closing deals with interviews and jobs, and it gets too easy because you spin it and you start like getting the company to sell themselves to you. And once they start doing that, then
leave.
yeah, like it's really easy. We call it the reverse sell. So this is what you want to be taking the approach of as well, like in your comments, is that you don't want to be selling to them ever at this part of the process. All you're doing is getting them to sell to you. So
Why do they think they're the best fit for this opportunity, basically?
yeah, you know, like not just the opportunity, but like, why should I even have a conversation with you? You know, like, you know, what is it that you have about yourself, or etc. So you want to be the one who's holding that authority. And even with authority, there's levels to your authority in terms of how you're perceived by the person, but also in how you perceive yourself. So you might have low level of authority, which is like just based off of your position. And they might see you in that position as well. Your position is, I'm the one with the opportunity. You're the one who is seeking.
Looking.
Yeah, but that's like the lowest level of authority. Whenever people come onto a call with me, especially when it's been teed up by another person, the level of authority that then I have in the conversation is next level, which is why I had such a high close rate. So there's results-based authority, and that's where you can say, yep, I've achieved X result. I've got this many people results, or I mean, initially it's I've got my own success. I've built a business to this level. I've got my own financial freedom. And then after that, it's I've helped this many people get their success, and that becomes your authority. So there's results authority, but again, like there's further authority that goes past that. And that highest level of authority is where it's like divine authority, where the person is looking at you and they're almost like,
you were sent to me
by God.
You were sent to me. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
because I felt that as well. Sometimes when you've had conversations, you've had that at times when you're like, wow, this is meant for me. Like,
yeah,
exactly. But
you know, your gut instinct knows, everything knows.
Yes, that's partly because of not just the way that you perceive me, but also, like I said, the way that I perceive myself in terms of how I view myself as being the one that God has actually ordained to be in this position of helping people that I'm helping. So, yeah, like I think that also requires a level of humility as well, because you have to be in a position of saying, you know what, like, I'm not just self-led, but I'm led by God. He's the one that's leading me. I'm associated and partnered with him. So then people are like, well, if he's got God with him, this guy's freaking like powerful, or he's connected. He's
Unless they don't believe it, how do you not think you're crazy?
Some people might, but are those going to be the people that see you from that position? No. They'll be just the people that see you at the lower levels of authority, and that's fine. It's just not as compatible in terms of the transformation that you can provide them
that's
with.
not the ones we're trying to attract anyways.
Yeah.
So that's why we're disqualifying these.
Yeah. So this is the thing. Like, if you was to ask yourself the question of, with your prospects, you know, which level of authority that you feel as though, you know, you are ideally going to be at with your prospects, which one do you think will resonate the most? I actually got them written down over here so you can take a look at all of them. But
personal,
the lowest one is
something
positional.
positional. You're someone who leads, competence, results, narrative, energetic, understand your move, purpose, you are guided. I think it's a bit of divine. I think it's a bit of narrative. I think it's a bit of competence.
I don't think it's more competent.
I think you sound like you come across like you. Yeah, I think it's competence.
That's why I'm still stuck here, because I don't know what to do.
Yes, yeah, you need positional.
I think I would be.
You need positional. That's what you need. The main one.
Mission, maybe.
I was going to say that as well. You can actually really leverage this one when you stand firm in your mission and you see yourself as that one that is the missionary. Now, I do believe that you have the capacity to reach at this level too.
Yeah.
But I don't think you see yourself that way yet.
No, not yet.
I think you're getting that, but you can.
When I'm not so dependent on you, then I'll be there.
Yes, this is
it.
it.
I'm still in the crib. I'm still dependent.
When you become God dependent, then you'll have more of that divine authority. So, the thing is also the more that you can see yourself with all of these other ones as well, like this mission becomes more consistent. So it's not that I just see myself as being led by God, but I've also got my mission that I'm certain about.
Yeah.
I've got the presence that calibrates people. People always talk about my energy. I've got the story. I always talk about my story. I've got the results. I've got results for me and other people. I've got the competence. I know what I'm doing. And I've got the position, like I'm definitely in the position that I can lead the person. So in terms of
complete package.
Yes. So with your mission as well, like you might not necessarily have the same level of energetic, but you still want to be certain about this. You still want to
show up with some energy.
Yeah. You still want people to come to the call and feel like, oh yeah, she's really positive, or she's someone who just made me feel comfortable. Like that's still energetic authority. Narrative, you have a story. Now it's like, how can you communicate that story? How can you tell it in a way where people are like, yeah, she does have a story and she's owned it. Results, you might not necessarily have the maximum amount of results in terms of getting results for your team or financially, but look at the results you've got for your personal growth and your transformation there. I think you're owning that as well. Competence. Again, you might not be able to close deals. You might not be able to lead a team.
Know what you're doing.
But you know what you're doing when it comes to having the consistency. You know what you're doing when it comes to looking for different opportunities that are scams versus legitimate ones. Like you know what you're doing in that particular area. You have to have trust. And then positional, someone who leads, like, again, you have the opportunity. You're in. Whereas them, they're still seeking. They're still looking.
Yeah.
Right,
So,
of course. You are leading, of course.
Yeah.
This is how much there is a gap between where you are versus where they are. It's like almost 7 levels.
Right. Yeah.
And the more you view yourself in that light, the more that you'll be able to really be an authority in your conversations. So, there's like I was saying, the disqualification, that's the mentality. And the question that I was asking was, okay, what do we actually want as a bare minimum before they jump on a call with me? You said that the time, the resources, time, money, etc. So what I'd be looking for in terms of resources is, do they have a job?
Right.
If they don't have a job, I might dig a little bit deeper. Are they someone who really is hungry? Because if they're really hungry, like there's ways that they'll be able to find resources. Are they resourceful is actually more pertinent than do they have resources. lots of people that have resources, they're not resourceful, so
Yeah.
they're not even willing to really invest. So how resourceful that they are is the first thing. And then what else do you think would be necessary for them to jump on a call with me?
Do they have the time to put it
Time.
Yeah, so that's part of the resources as well.
Right.
Again, someone who's resourceful will make the time.
Language.
I wouldn't be speaking to them if they don't know English anyways.
No,
Yeah.
but if there's a difficulty in language.
Like I might have to call in some help with the closing if we're doing the Spanish deal.
Or
What else would they need? What do you need before you?
need maybe
They would need to have some sort of understanding of
a video.
business, maybe like
I'd like to see a video. Short, maybe a video. Or something that gives me some information about what it is, to just go hand in hand with it.
Okay. So the thing that you're kind of saying is they have to be at a level of awareness, right? Because a video, when you give them information, like they have more awareness now. So if they've seen your ad, they know that they might have a problem because you talk about a problem in the ad. But then you're kind of checking in, you know, what's the level of awareness right now? So remember, there's 5 stages of awareness. Do you remember what those are?
Conscious incompetence.
Not that
Conscious.
one. Not that one. I'm talking about the other stages of awareness that take people from least aware to most aware. I've definitely explained this before, but you might not remember it. But let me share my screen so you can see exactly. Can you see now?
Yeah. Unaware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware, most aware.
Right.
So right now we've taken them from unaware.
Yeah.
We've got problem aware. Solution. We
They know there is a solution to their problems,
We-
but they don't know of any specific products.
right. So we are solution aware, probably. No.
So my question to you is, where did they start in a conversation with you after they've come through an ad, and where do you ideally want them to be when just before they have a phone call with me?
So they probably at the problem aware when they come through the ad,
Right?
right? And then we have the call, and then they're solution aware. They know that there is a solution, but they don't know exactly what it is. So you would so down there, so do we at product aways, do we do like a video or like a presentation and then they come to you, or you just go straight to you?
Well, am I a product or am I a solution? Like, what would you say my job is to do?
To make them aware of what the solution
Yeah,
is.
most.
So most aware then know and what it is, but let them come around. But
You could probably do all of them.
no, they should
really
be.
fast.
They should be at the last one when they get to you.
Yeah.
To just be on the closing end, isn't it?
I mean, that would be great for me. I would love that.
Ideally, yeah.
But just something like it could be that way if the product aware
It's the solution.
section is more
Solution aware.
video based. I think.
So they know there is
like
a
one
solution.
of the ones you've done on school.
Mm.
No, or you think?
This is the thing. If they've watched everything in school, I take people through all the levels of awareness in my videos.
Yeah.
So by the time they finish watching the video, they should be most aware.
They just need to
If
make
they're not, then I just literally go over what they didn't understand in the video, and then they become most aware.
Yeah.
So that's what the videos can do. But my question is, but before they come onto a conversation with me, like what level of awareness do you think that they should be at minimum?
Solution aware.
Okay.
Or,
So they should know that there is a solution. They
Or
don't know
then,
exactly
yeah.
what though.
yeah.
Or
Okay.
or do you want to should we leave that? So the initial call or whatever with me, or initial conversation with the text or video messages should be problem aware. They should get to the problem aware stage.
Okay. So like what problem should they be aware of when they get to a call with
Their
me?
own problem.
Yeah, the problem that they might have.
Their pain points now that
Pain
they're
point, yeah.
dealing with. It's most frustrating to them.
Okay. So there's actually another one that I don't like about the 5 stages of awareness. I think it should be the 6 stages of awareness, because
There's something missing there.
between unaware and problem aware, I believe that there should be pain aware. Because pain aware and problem aware are two different things. Pain aware is aware that something hurts, but problem aware is knowing what the hurt is.
Right.
Not everybody that has pain knows what that pain is called.
Where it's coming from.
Yeah. So for example, like you might be having pain in your stomach, but then you go to the doctor and they tell you that, you know, you've got colon problems. You got colon disease, right? So they're pain aware until they get to the doctor, and then they become problem aware. So that's the question that I guess we can ask now is like, okay, in sales, there is a concept called frames, where it's about what kind of role are you taking on with your prospect. So one of the frames is a frame that, like, the one that you'll be taking on is like what I call the security guard frame. Because if you think about what the purpose of a security guard is in a club, you've got all these people that are lined up, and the security guard's like, nope, you're not coming in, you're not coming in, you're not coming in. And the only person that can come in is like all the girls, so they keep the ratio. But like that's the whole job of the security guard, is to literally remove all of the non-participants. Yeah, the ones that aren't allowed inside. So that's the frame that you take on, the security guard frame. So what do you think my frame is when I'm on a call? What do you think?
You're the MC.
I'm the MC?
You're the MC on stage.
The MC or
Usher?
Am I the DJ?
You're the DJ. Yeah, you're the DJ setting the vibes.
Yeah.
And letting and the people know where they've come in, where they are.
This is it. I'm either the DJ, or I'm the one that's like in the VIP section, and they want to get into my party.
Right.
Into the VIP.
Yeah. But let me actually use a different analogy, because the DJ doesn't do much apart from get the crowd to feel something. That more so works better at scale.
Yeah.
Whereas if this is a one-to-one, think about like a doctor's practice. So you've got a person that comes in, they've got a pain, and then they're going to speak to the receptionist. You guys are like the receptionist when you're checking them in, saying, you guys have a pain. Yeah. Why did you come in? Go sit down, wait until you're seen to. And then they're seen to by the expert, the consultant. So when you go into the doctors, which level of awareness does the doctor take you from and to?
Pain aware to problem aware.
Yeah, now you can get your solution.
Yeah, because the doctor doesn't even really offer the solution, do they? Over the counter. The doctor usually.
The pharmacist.
Exactly. Yeah. This is it. So my job is to just make people problem aware.
Yeah.
That's what the expert does. Gives them a diagnosis.
Not to the other bits yet, the solution, the product, or that will be done via school.
Exactly. By the time that I've made them problem aware, they will rush to do the rest of the stuff, the same way that as soon as the doctor gives you your problem,
Pharmacy. Oh,
You go
wow.
straight to the pharmacist.
Give me my medication right now.
because the thing is that what the doctor does is the doctor gives you certainty on the problem.
Yeah. Clarity.
Yeah, it like reassures you that there is a problem there. Yeah, like, this is the problem.
Yeah.
Clarity and certainty. Once you have clarity and certainty of the problem, and not just the problem, but also like, because there's levels of awareness with each of these. With pain awareness, there's like surface level awareness, and then there's emotional level awareness, and like around values and identity. So there's all these pain levels. If you knew that your pain was going to affect the most important areas of like your faith, for example, like that's a different level of pain, affect your relationships. Whereas, some people, they know that they've got pain, but they don't know how much it's hurting or how much it could hurt. Then you've got problem awareness, where a person can have like low problem awareness of knowing what the name of their problem is, but then they don't really know how that's affected certain people and how much they were struggling with it. So then when they start hearing that, like, let's say, for example, you've got a tooth problem and the doctor says, yeah, if you don't take that tooth out, you've got a hole in it or whatever, like I don't know much about teeth. But yeah, you've got a cavity. If you don't take this out, then there's like an 80% chance that we're going to have to remove your teeth in about 4 or 5 years' time anyway, which will cost you another $5,000. That's like a different level of problem awareness, So this is the thing, is that the good doctors will take you to such a level of problem awareness where you're going to be like, well, what's the solution then? Like, give me
the theater now.
Give me the thing. Yeah.
Give me the prescription.
Exactly. So here's the thing, is it's like, the more authority that you guys have with the prospect, the more that you can actually take them to the higher levels of awareness, because you can give a diagnosis, and you can be the ones that are giving options and solutions, etc. And the whole process becomes a lot easier the more that you tee a person up and they're just a lot more qualified in terms of their awareness level. But yeah, like even in positions where I've taken a person from unaware all the way to the end, I've been able to do that. So that's also a thing, and we have all the videos, etc., stuff like that. So that can handle most of it. But the main, most important parts isn't the solution. It's not the most awareness. It's not the product awareness. The main important parts is the pain awareness and the problem awareness. It's the main two things. And so if you can just get good at the pain, extracting pain, twisting the knife is what we call it as well, making them really feel it. If you can get good at that part, like, you can do great. So yeah, but so far in terms of qualification, we've got awareness, we've got resources. Was there anything else?
To qualify them.
You've done that.
Yeah.
That's
it, really?
They have the resources and they are aware of the pain. Or pain and problem. Or we get to pain and then you tell them what the problem is.
Yeah, what if it's like a 15-year-old? You might get some of them, to be fair. I've had quite a few.
They have age. They have to meet the age requirement, obviously.
You can get Mariam to talk to them.
Yeah, but they still can't buy into things.
Yeah, I mean,
Get their mummies to come and buy it then.
This is it. So the mum is the decision maker for a young child.
Oh,
So-
the decision makers, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was going to say, yeah, then you'd say, where's your mother?
exactly. So you want to be the authority, but also they have to be the authority too. Because if they don't have the authority to make the decision, then
Yes.
you're wasting your time. Exactly. They
Yeah.
could have all the pain in the world, but they don't even have the authority to make that decision.
Right.
So the thing is that if you have someone that is like older than 18, I'd say they usually have the authority to make their own decisions, and if they
Yes.
don't, I'm gonna help them to see themselves as the authority, so they'll make their own decision. But those are like the three main things I'd say: awareness, authority, and the means. I call it the MAA qualification, the Muhammad Adam Ali. That's how you remember it.
Right.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna do it.
It's great. Nice one.
Yeah. How clear are you on the whole process now? On a scale of 1 to 10.
I'm pretty 8.
I'm clear.
Mm.
I'm just like, but you said I just need to do like video messages, isn't it? So I'm gonna get on a call immediately with someone. So it's nothing to be like afraid of anyway.
The main thing you're going to be afraid of is getting ghosted.
Yeah. That's the only thing, and that's what I tell her.
But like the qualification, but now, or the disqualification, but whatever we're gonna call it, that has to be done over the phone. Or are we still doing the text thing and the video message thing?
That can come. That can be
Can
included.
be done. That can be done through text.
Yeah.
And not only can it be done through text, but if you really wanted to, you can just focus solely on connecting through text, and then the qualification can be done through a form.
Something separate.
Yeah, that might be a good one.
Yeah, because then the thing is that you can just, for example, you can get them to book in with me. So connect, get to the emotional connection, and then be like, okay, cool. I want to set you up with, my mentor. And then on that page where they can book in for a call, it has all the qualification questions on there.
Right, and at the end they gotta book.
Yeah. So the thing is that if you qualify yourself the most, then the thing that will be beneficial for you is, number one, you're going to get more experience. Number two, more confidence, and number three, you will also be able to have more of a prediction as to like, oh yeah, just put someone through. They're going to be a good person to speak with because of how much you qualified. Whereas if you just like have a base connection with someone, don't ask them any questions about qualification, you won't know until the answers have come through whether or not they're good. So there's like two ways you
someone through that's not necessarily qualified.
There's two ways you can qualify. There's automated Well, I'd say there's three ways you qualify, but two main ways. So there's automated and manual. Automated would be using a form or an AI. I've done form automations and they worked really well for me, to be honest. So you can qualify using a form, or you can qualify using a human, right? So if you use a human, then it's going to be either through the DMs, the phone call, or whatever. And if you use a form, you can either do the form after you've connected with them as a human, or you can do it beforehand after they've come through an advertisement. So sometimes what I would do is I take them from an advertisement, put them to a type form. That's where they get qualified. And after that, we then
go to the phone call.
But The
Maybe the initial connection first is better before they go through a type form.
when we tested it, what we personally found was that if we didn't connect with them and they just came through straight away, the people that did come through were epic. Like, let me give you examples. You came through that process of just advertisement, type form, book a call.
Yeah.
Nobody set a call. You just came straight to me, and then we just had conversations, and that's how you got started, right? But then another person that was like that was Ben.
Mm.
So Ben booked in, like came through, filled out the form, and booked a call, instant. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else. I think Sean was another one who kind of did a similar thing. But what I'm saying is, like, some of the best people are usually the ones that just flow straight through.
The ones that are sort of more like the action taker ones. So they're already qualifying themselves in a certain.
They're just the ones that are like genuinely either seeking or like serious, is what I would say.
Serious, yeah.
Everyone else, if it's like you've almost got to drag them through the funnel, and the more dragging that has to take place, usually
more resistance.
Yeah, it's actually less in alignment. But what I would say is that when you're first getting started out, like, that experience that you get, like I said, through playing the game is invaluable. It's the best way to grow, genuinely. So I think having it there is good. So what we would do is we would have it set up so that they can come through automatically. But even if they didn't, they would still give us their Instagram, mobile phone, and email, so we can always reach out still.
And reach out, innit?
And then then you can do the other way.
Yeah. So you can have both set up. So imagine, like, let's say in 1 month you generated 100 leads. If you generated 100 leads, maybe 1 or 2 people go through automatically to book a call. 98 of them, you've got their phone numbers or their Instagrams.
Right.
So you do the reach outs, and then you'll qualify, and then you can put them into the funnel again and be like, oh, you missed out that part where you were supposed to fill out the form and watch the video. So here it is. Go watch it. Now that you've connected with me, you know that I'm a real person.
That makes it a bit more authentic.
Yeah. Some people need that. Some people need that human connection. Before. And again, like, I'd say some great people have come through that dropped off for whatever reason, because a lot of the time, some of the best people are just unaware. So they don't know what their pain is, or they don't know how their pain relates to what it is that we're offering. But then through a phone call or through a connection, they're like, wow, I can't believe, like, you told me that part. Now that's got me to open up and see my pain. And I'm actually curious as to having that conversation, what's going on. Yeah.
Okay.
People like, intrigue. People like intriguement, and they like to. I like it personally when you feel like you're being led to this person, or you've been led to this person, or something. As people have this intuitions, connections are important. It happens.
Yeah. The connection will determine the speed of which a person will go through the process. And with the least amount of resistance as well. So the less connection, the more that they're going to be like, oh yeah, they're just one of those people, aren't they? They're just like whatever, which is why having calls is so great. There are some people who they don't do any calls. They just literally like message people, send them videos, bring them on board, no connection whatsoever. But the way that they're connecting is through their content, and that's why people are coming through. So there is always a connection at some level, but anybody who's trying to just run ads and then put them through a funnel, they're struggling because there's disconnects.
No connection.
Yeah. So the more you're connecting, the more flow that will really occur.
Of course. If you've got no interest in a video, like if you're say you're a mechanic and you're watching a video about
Water.
or improving yourself or health or something, or you bypass. You're not going for people like that. Like.
But if they made an initial connection with you, then they might be more likely to watch.
But it's the
because
people
they've
that
now realized, oh, here's my pain now, and
Yeah.
this is the problem. So now I need.
Yeah, look at you two as an example, right? You guys had a great connection before you got involved, Idris. Like you had probably the strongest connection with Yasmin than anyone else, right? So the reason for why you're here, it's not because of the sales process. You didn't even come through the funnel. Like you're here because you just know Yasmin really well and you're connected. So if you think about it like that, it's like,
well,
if you can just connect with people as well as you two have connected with each other, then you'll have ease in the next part of the process, which is getting people on board.
Showing people the outcome.
just like genuine.
Genuine.
Like, just genuinely care about helping someone else, a stranger. The strangers initially, obviously.
I think you have that. I think you have that.
I had this wicked idea today. Yeah, I got this fine, and I came home and I thought, right, let me do it properly. We video it before, come in, and then show Yasmin and do her little reaction. But
for the first time, I didn't react like I usually. That would have been good if I did just do my normal reaction.
Yeah, but that is funny. It is funny.
Yeah.
It lightens the mood for me.
That's it. People once you come in with a light-hearted approach, completely disarms people. And the thing is that if you can do it, especially without losing your authority, because what you don't want to happen is to get put into the friend zone. Once you get put into the friend zone, then they are not going to respect you.
Then,
yeah, and they're not going to like go to the next part of the process. So it's not to say that they won't like you if you're an authority. They'll still like you.
Don't follow you though.
Yeah. So some people in sales, like, this is what I was trying to do in the beginning of my journey. I was just trying to be everyone's friend. They're just like, okay, if I get to be their friend, then they'll eventually move forwards. But it don't work very well. You got to take a different approach at that point. More so, you want to be genuine, connect, but still be like, yo, we're here for a reason. We ain't gonna just talk about anything and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So what that comes from is, again, it's the frame. So there's the frame, which is like a noun, but then there's a verb to it, which is what we call framing.
Yeah.
So framing is the process of setting the boundaries of a conversation and the expectations. So before you even go into connecting and qualifying, you get them to agree to that particular process that you're about to do. And it could be something like, hey, I just seen you came through the ad, everything like that. Great to meet you. Just before I go and walk you through some of the next steps of exactly how this works, I want to ask you a few questions, because this opportunity is only for the ones that are really truly coachable, hungry, etc. And I've got a lot of people to speak with. So once I've asked you a few questions, then after that, I can walk you through exactly how everything works. That sound fair enough? Yeah. As soon as I do that right now, like, I've set the boundaries and the frame and the expectations of the conversation. It does two things. It doesn't just make them respect you, The second thing that it does is that it also will, what was I going to say? It also will actually like calm their nervous system, because if they don't know where they're going, because you haven't told them how it's going to work, they're going to be like, shit, is this going to last like 5 hours or something? Like,
yeah.
I just don't know what's going to happen. And people go in panic mode. So framing is also a good thing to put in there too. But that is part of your intro, I would say, when you're doing the DMs.
So this is for the people that don't go straight to the type form. Right. They just give their information and then forget about and then you're gonna send. I think we should do like separate one, like separate. You have a separate target audience and I have or should we do like a joint one? Or
joint one, but not with our accounts at the moment. Or it could be.
I think at the moment, Yasmin's brand is like more developed. There's more trust. There's more.
Yeah, of course.
You also have like more authority, I would say, right now. So like the ideal would be to leverage your personal brand.
Yeah.
But then Idris could be more so like the one that's learning how to do the DMs and actually like taking people through, because at the moment, like Yasmin, you're already focusing on putting out content, stories, etc. And Idris is, not as active. So this is a great thing that he can do. And usually men tend to be better when it comes to the sales part of it. Yeah. And women are better with
like what you were doing with Brendan Brown thing. He was quite good at like connecting with people, to be honest. Like he's good at that. It's like very easy for him. He can just text people and he's just like, I think that's like your.
Yeah, but I don't. Facebook is it's
not Facebook. We don't forget about Facebook. We're gonna do this where you send where you either get the phone number or the Instagram and email, right? And then if they don't go through the type form, then you're either gonna DM them on Instagram or WhatsApp.
Yeah. You can do it in Instagram and WhatsApp, and you can do text messages. It's up to you. But my question for yourself, Idris, was like, you were about to say what you didn't like about the Facebook way. So what didn't you like when you were doing that method before?
No, it's not that I didn't like it.
Just don't like Facebook.
I run into trouble with it. But I found it very like easy to get to 1,000 friends. It was just
and you were like actually talking to people, isn't it?
Yeah, there was.
More than what
there was a lot of.
yeah.
There's a lot of. With that comes a lot of weird texts, and you have to deal with that.
No comment.
The strange ones,
and
you have to distinguish. Because when you're adding and adding and adding, it's like you have to be really selective. Otherwise,
but this is not the same, though, isn't it? This is not going to be.
So here's the question that I'm asking now: is like when you were adding people, like who were you going after? What was the target audience there?
My main thing was seeing. So as you add, as it was coming on your friends request list.
Okay.
Giving you like
suggestions.
That's it, friend suggestions. So then you see, right, this one's got 5, 6, 7 mutual friends, similar groups. And then the top ones were the ones who you're mutual friends with. So then it started growing, and it's like 15, 20 mutual friends, and then 30 mutual friends.
Yeah, so this is.
So you start adding the people you're friends with.
This is probably why you didn't like what was going on. Because there wasn't much strategy involved there. It was just like, let me just do volume. So it's good that you can do volume.
Yeah, just to get the audience.
Yeah. But here's what I would say. Like, I definitely think you'd be good at organic. And one of the ways that it can be done on Facebook, okay, I think Facebook is a great place right now for organic outreach. And a big reason why is because for some reason, everyone's just moved towards being really open on Facebook with how they post on comments. So before, like, people just wouldn't really say that much in comments because it wasn't really like a community feel. But because of how much like AI has taken control,
And improved.
what I see is that whenever there's like a viral post, you go into the comments and people in the comments are like, I could not wait to jump into the comments. I knew you guys were going to put this stuff in. I'm so glad that we can all like be this community here. And they're all saying like the same funny stuff. And I see it on a daily basis, right?
The comments are, what did we just watch now the other day? And I said, like, look, the comments are funnier than the actual post.
This is it.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
So what people don't realize is like they're actually providing social media with content by posting in the comments. That's not just a feed. And that's where like the authentic comments really are. And I'd say that those people are great to target because they're the ones who are sharing and they also come in volume. So there could be like one viral post or one group where there's many viral posts that are in there. You can go into the group, you can look at a post and see which ones are interesting. You can then see what the person is interested in because they're talking about it all in the comments, writing out paragraphs. And then you can message them or reply to that comment and then message them and be like, yo, that conversation, wild, wasn't it? Yeah. And then boom, you get into your conversation and start talking a little more deep on it. So if I show you practically, right, like if I went onto Facebook right now, there is this is cool. So if I'm to share this, I'm excited for this call. It's going to be epic. First person we see. Can you see?
Bobby Parr.
Numerology.
Yes, this is the guy that done my numerology. He also done ballages, and he's crazy with it. So I know why they're going to be putting him out at this stage. It's just because next 9 years, new cycle is going to be a big thing. So that's tomorrow in GPM base. If you want to check that out, I just seen that now. So the thing that I was going to show you was going to be around, okay, like this is a good example of a group where, look at that, AAA. Just as I'm talking about numerology, I've been seeing this everywhere. You cannot make this stuff up. That's the second time I've seen that today. And it's the number for wealth and abundance. How good is that? But like, look at this. This is a high vibe tribe. This is my type of people. And when I come into here, it's like this person has put out a post, which would normally just be a regular viral post, talking about like empaths and boundaries and all personal development stuff. And then if I went into the comments, it's like, okay, currently this doesn't have that many comments, but this is a person. This person is sharing. These are all interested people. So that's probably not the best example. But yeah, something like this, 157 comments. That's a talking point. I was having a conversation with someone, and right before my eyes, her face changed to a rat face. Has everyone had this before?
Yeah, I would freak out if that happened to me. Oh my god.
Look at all these comments. Like you're seeing the spirit behind the person, the truth of their being. I had this happen to me, a girl. Trust what you saw and leave that person. That must have been an intense experience. How did you end up cutting ties? Reminds me of a woman. Look at how long this comment is. You might have been seeing one of the totem animals again, positive and negative points to each animal. So how did that make you feel? Right. So they're just showing you like what they're interested in. You can comment on all of these and they'll reply because they'll get a notification. Look at this. They're literally opening up about their whole story, all their pain.
SubhanAllah.
5 minutes of physical abuse, never
Wow.
experienced it from anyone else. Like people are like in a place where, like I said, there's so much disconnection right now. Everybody's wanting to connect.
Yeah.
So these are the people who are showing
Like
me,
they just want someone to hear their story, innit?
Of course. It's a
yeah,
release for a lot.
yeah. So if you come in here and you reply to them with something that's just as heartfelt, where you actually like go in there and you type out a long message where you've thought about how can I put something in that's either going to be valuable or just sharing your personal experience, and meeting them with that same energy, that's going to probably get their attention. And after you've got their attention, they've responded back to you. That's when you can invite them to a private conversation. Because in public conversation, they're enjoying it. Then you have the private conversation. It's the same thing like what happens when, you're at an event or you're in a club or wherever it is. You're having your public conversation, but then it's like, let's have a private conversation in the smoking area. Let's have a private conversation outside. It's the exact same thing. There's so many comments here. And you can message them. You can find people who are into similar things to what you're in. But if you find a group that's genuinely like an engaged group, this is happening every day. So if I look at this post, this is 3 hours ago.
Yikes.
And there's just all these leads. If you look at
I
this
think
one over
I think
here,
you need to get more like clarity on what is it that what
What was the
audience
question?
that you're looking for, or that you should be.
yeah,
Clarity. He needs more clarity on who is targeting, basically. Like how it took me
I'm just being
a
myself
while
at the
to
moment.
get like, and then you got maybe look for similar people that have the similar.
you have to enjoy it. You have to really enjoy
Yeah,
it.
it
Like,
doesn't
I'm
become
just
like a
enjoying
job
myself.
then, innit? Yeah.
if you target people that you think to yourself, oh, they're going to be good for the opportunity. So I used to do that. I was like, let me go and target people that are interested in travel when I hadn't really traveled that much and I wasn't that bothered by it. I wouldn't like sit with someone and talk about countries for ages and feel like, oh, that was an epic conversation. And the only reason for why I was able to develop the discernment that, yeah, maybe that's not my target audience is because when I did find my target audience, we did speak for hours and I loved it. So, if you think a little bit about, okay, if you could just literally imagine you're 5 years down the line and you and Yasmin, you've got all the success. You've got all the people in your community. You've got tons of, you've got tons of people who are in this event that you're hosting. And you're about to have like a weekend retreat with them as well, like maybe about 20, 30 of them. And just imagine like the nightmare experience where you're in the Airbnb and you're thinking, oh my God, what have we created for ourselves? Because these people are just
like any of
weirdos.
them.
We're freaking weirdos. Like, and always just talking about random. Like, you would imagine the nightmare experience first, because then once you've seen that, you'll be like, okay, let's focus on what would the dream be? What would feel like just absolute most funnest thing, just where would be looking back and thinking, that was like a freaking best party ever, What would that feel like? And who would be the kind of people that would be in that room? What kind of things would you be watching on the television together as you are having fun with them? What kind of conversations would you be having? What kind of food would you be eating? When you start thinking about this, then you'll start building a picture in your mind as to who's going to be this ideal person to go and reach out to. Where would they hang out? So for me, it's like that group's a great group for someone like me because I love talking about that stuff.
Yeah.
I love talking about the personal growth and, just spiritual stuff. So if I go into that group, I'll be able to speak with them for ages.
Right. Find people who think that. Yeah, of course.
Stuff that you enjoy talking about.
Makes
anything.
sense. Yeah.
Like if you used to think about what are some of the longest conversations that you and Yasmin have and that you love them, what do they tend to be about?
But we do talk about a lot about traveling and stuff, you know, other
Traveling.
countries, and that's why we've got a big map here on the board.
We like talking about our experiences,
Religion.
religion a lot,
Yeah.
where to go next, traveling. Yeah. A lot of
Yeah.
things.
So think about, where would somebody hang out that possesses all of those things? They like to travel. They like to talk about religion. And when you're saying religion, you're not just talking about like generic religion, are you? You're talking about specific Islam, unless
Yeah,
'cause
but
there's
like
some
because
different groups.
yeah, because he did a little bit of like his own sort of research before he became a Muslim, so he does have
Yeah, I came from a Christian
broader
background,
knowledge
didn't
than
I?
I do. So if I wanted to know something, then I'd like sort of ask him. About
Yeah.
it.
Fair enough. So this is the thing, like, because there's two different audiences there. You've got one audience who is more of a seeker type of audience, or more of like a spiritually awake audience. They'll love talking about religion, but they're not the type of audience that is more like a convicted, integrated Muslim who is going to be like, yeah, they're on their 5 daily prayers. They're fully focused on their one faith, their one religion.
Yeah.
That's a different audience. So when you think about the ideal experience where you could be at your retreat and you got 20, 30 people, what would you prefer? Would you prefer to talk about Islam, or would you prefer to talk about all the religions?
No, man. You'd want it to be narrowed down to mainly Islam.
Right. This is the thing. So if you now like think about, okay, where's going to be some of those people who like they're having a conversation about Islam every day and they're going deep into it. So they're almost like, you know, those people that start to have debates and it's like Sunni versus Shia, like Sunni versus Sufi, and like, you know, those are people that are passionate about it. They're getting deep into it. And there's people that are the debaters, but then there's like a higher consciousness people, the people that are not debating, but they're more so like showing adoration for their faith.
Defending
and they
it.
can go deep into it too. Yeah. So you can find groups which are like the one that I found. Doesn't take long. You can even use ChatGPT and be like, which are going to be the best groups where this person would hang out on Facebook right now. I'm looking for a group that has roughly 1 million people in it, or 500,000, whatever. And it's a highly engaged group on Facebook. And then every single day, you're just going to get all these people who are in a community and going to be looking into this community.
That we generally talk about anyway.
Yeah, so it makes it a bit more easier to get into a conversation, obviously, and connect.
Because they've started the conversation.
Yeah.
So rather than you having to start the conversation, you just jump into already existing conversations that they've
been commenting or whatever, so they've put themselves out there already.
In that.
Yeah. And like one of the things that I would do in the early days, especially when I didn't have any authority, and to be honest, people that currently do have authority still do this, which is when you show somebody who clearly wants recognition, they want validation, they want acknowledgement, you actually like invite them onto a podcast with you, and you say, hey, I'm doing a podcast series with this kind of people who I feel like need a voice right now. You seem like a perfect candidate. Can I just interview you for 40, 50 minutes? And the cool thing about that is that throughout the whole thing, not just content, but you're also connecting and you're qualifying.
Yeah. That's a good idea, actually. And it's,
And it's fun as well. That's a fun thing to do, because worst case scenario, you get your podcast episode out. Best case scenario, this person at the end is like, so what do you do?
What do you do? That's where you want to get to. Actually, this is what I've been doing for the last since you asked.
Yeah. And then they're just like, oh, That sounds really cool. Would you like to learn more about it? Yeah, absolutely. Because you've shown such an interest in them that they're just like, well, I would like to know more about what you're talking about. It sounds like it's in alignment. I love this conversation. That tends to work pretty well. So especially if you know who your target audience is, that's a great thing to do, because no one refuses that stardom, especially that they want it.
You make them feel like the special one, yeah. I
You are
want
the
you to
special
like
guest,
interview you for this. I think you could provide so much value to my viewers or whatever. Yeah.
They love that.
Yeah, you're literally the best. Like, I'm just starting a new podcast because remember what I was saying about your ads, right? Your ads don't just have to be about Enagic. They don't have to be about business. Your ads can be about whatever you want them to be. So, New Year, 2026, guys, I'm starting a new podcast. It's going to be about Muslim women who are living the struggles of raising a kid whilst in the UK. And I want to go and spread this message.
Today, raising kids in the UK, like now, it's very difficult. Especially if they're in school, like in the public schools. So I just heard a story today, and I was like, oh, I'll never regret taking my children out of school, even if they're not doing the best. I don't really care academically. As long as they're getting educated and they're learning, and it's fine for me. But there is just so many negatives in the schools now.
Right. And everyone is talking about it that I know who is either a teacher or has got kids in school or observing it.
This came from a teacher that's having trouble with her son, teenager, and she doesn't know what to do. And she's teaching teenagers at the same time. She's like, I can't deal with these children. They're like, no one listens, So I just go in there, do my job, and I come out like this. That's the best I can. Literally, she's like, I just give up because.
Yeah. So imagine if you had that podcast now, where it's like you can literally say to them, listen, I got to get this message out there. I believe in this so strongly that we need to be more vocal about this. And you just seem like you're someone who, because if you find the right groups, if you attract the right people, you're going to notice that there are other women that are showing that they have kids, that they're Muslims, that they're these candidates, and you can just go and interview them. And then after you interview them, you've got content, which you can also show to the other mums that are going to be future guests and be like, this is my show. You can take a look at some of the other people that have come on in the past. But would you like to come on and be interviewed? And you don't have to start it off with the people who you don't know. You could start it off with people in your circle that you do know, or like people in like the wider Enagic community. And just go speak to your target audience there, get like 4 or 5 people. Once you've got a few, then people are like, oh yeah, she's not joking about this. Like, she's genuinely going to do a podcast with other mums in a target audience. I'd love to be on the show. Some people would love it. Other people would be like, no, I don't want to show my face or anything like that. And that's fine, because you can also say to them, well, I also have like a Spotify version. So it's just a voice. If I can just get your voice out there, would that be okay? Yeah, by all means. And then like, you can handpick people that are going to be the ones that you would really want for that month in your organization. Because obviously you're not going to be doing this daily. This is more like a, every few days or weekly thing, however much capacity that you have to do it. But what you'll notice is that the conversion rate with something like that is really high. Most of the time, like every time I've done a podcast thing, when I used to do it, I think everyone that came on the podcast ended up becoming a customer. Everyone.
Well, yeah, that's a good idea. Ask you too many good ideas,
That's what it's for.
Got the ads, we got the Facebook, we got the podcast. Well, let's focus on the ads for now.
the main concept was this idea of closing, right? So teaching
close
you
myself.
what it meant to close yourself.
Mm.
So the question that's the closing question that I asked is a temperature check, right?
Mm.
And I asked, okay, so how much clarity do we have on the process on a scale of 1 to 10?
Now, I would say 9.
Yeah.
I would say 9.
Yeah, I'm about a 9 now.
A 9.
Yeah.
And that's as high as you're going to get, because if you're a 10, you'd already be in and you'd be experiencing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the next step.
Yeah, exactly. So
It's
whenever
what
I'm
we
doing,
Take
yeah,
it.
whenever I'm building certainty, I don't need to take people to a 10. I just need to take them to like an 8 or 9, and they can move from there.
Mhm.
But now that you've got that clarity, do you feel like you got the certainty, you've got the confidence to go and take action?
This is the next one.
Yeah, I do.
Great. So what do you notice about how I just closed you there? Do you see
You
what I
asked
did?
me. You asked me, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I am.
You made her feel confident in herself, innit?
Yes, that's what I first did.
Mm.
So before I asked you that question, I almost knew what the answer was going to be.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I'm doing when I'm closing is I'm most of the time asking you questions that I already know the answer to. But if I say it,
I need to say it. Yeah.
yeah, you won't understand it. If you say it, you'll understand it. So now you understand that you're ready.
Yeah.
How do I get a person confident? How do you think I do that? How do I build certainty?
You asked him if you're confident. Huh?
If they don't, how do I build it?
Where do you feel that you're lacking confidence? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just find a solution for their problem. Or identify that problem.
The
Mhm.
hesitance or the
Yeah.
unanswered question.
You've got to be aware.
Awareness. When did we last talk about awareness?
Yes.
You've got to be aware.
Do you remember when in the call we talked about awareness?
Yeah.
With my call.
No, just this one now.
Oh, no,
Like,
yeah. We were talking about awareness when it comes to qualifying
yes, the 5 stages.
5 stages. Yeah.
Do
Well,
you see
we
how I
added
took you
one
through?
6 stages now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the 6 stages. Did you see how I took you through the 6 stages of awareness?
Unaware, pain,
Yeah.
problem. Yeah.
Yes.
That's because I'm like,
That was good. Yeah.
So this is the thing as well for yourself is like when you're stuck in a particular area, when you feel like you got to, because a good closer, all they're going to do is help another person to make a good decision. That's the main role that you have. That's it. Just make a good decision. Sometimes that good decision is to walk away, but you've done your role
Your
as
part.
long as they make a decision. If they don't make a decision, you've not done your role.
you can
But
do.
make a good decision. So now that you know that for yourself, it's like whenever you're not taking action, part of that reason is because you haven't made a decision.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right.
This is the only reason why I've not done any of this, because I've not made
Yeah.
a decision to do it.
It's just not made a decision. So now you know that in order to make a decision, all you got to do, take yourself through the levels of awareness.
Yes.
Pain aware, you might know your pain. Can you identify your problem? If you personally can't identify your problem, you can either do it through me or you can ask ChatGPT.
Right.
Once you've got the problem, then you navigate the solution. And again, like coming to the solution, I got loads of solutions. So you can come to me. ChatGPT's got a bunch of solutions. You can go to ChatGPT. These are people that you have as resources.
Yeah.
And then everything else becomes really clear. But usually the thing that kind of gets I'd say you stuck, and most people in general, is that you're so used to being in pain and not getting
It's
to the
comfortable
problem.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you've had this pain now, but you're still surviving. So it's like, okay, whatever. I just love it.
Yeah.
So why rock the boat and find out what it is exactly? That my daughter said that to me earlier, because I'm still not feeling 100% since I had that whatever bug that's going around in England. And she said, "You're supposed to go and see a doctor when you don't feel well." Right? And it's like, yeah, but I don't like doctors because they always find something else that's wrong with you when you go see them for one thing and you
This
find
is it. Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
never just see a doctor because you're too afraid to find out what's wrong with you. I was like, yes, kind of like that's what it is.
Yeah. No, I can relate to that. I can relate to that. But when the pain becomes so strong, that's when you will go and do the thing that you even don't want to do.
Yeah.
You'll be more willing to pay that price of, oh man, there might be some other things wrong with me or whatever, but I have to go. Pain will take you there. And this is another big thing in sales as well. Like I said, when you want to become that pain master when it comes to your DMs and stuff like that. Good salespeople will identify the pain. Great salespeople will widen the gap. They'll make the pain that the person has given you and like actually make it seem worse than it actually is. Yeah, yeah. So you don't do that by adding in things that are not there. You more so do it through asking questions.
Yeah.
To get them to describe in more detail and more depth what the pain really is and how painful it genuinely feels. And then get them to feel it too.
Right.
So you can do that, then so there's a few ways that you can do that too. So you can get it through detail. You can also get it through time extension. So for example, it's like you might be feeling the pain right now of not taking action. And then I could just ask you a question of how much would you staying in the position that you're at right now, procrastinating, not taking action over the next 5 to 10 years, how much of an effect would that have in your life if you was to just continue going in that direction?
Yeah. I know.
And then I tell you to imagine that. Imagine feeling that right now.
I see. You're making it more real. You're making it more real because you've got to confront it now.
Yes, I'm bringing that pain to their attention, and then once they're really feeling it, as opposed to just burying it, hiding it, that's what takes them to the next step.
Oh yeah. I see what you're doing there.
It's pretty simple. And that's really the artistry that's involved is, like just once you know the game that you're playing, which is, we call it in sales, it's called internal tension.
Right.
So the more internal tension, if you think about like a rubber band, what does a rubber band have to do once you've pulled it apart from each other? It has to,
it's got to come back. Yeah. Contract.
As soon as you let go and you stop asking the questions, snap, they take action.
Right. I gotta sell myself on it, but I am sold. I am sold, definitely. I just need to do the action now.
Where have you sold yourself today, or where have you closed yourself on today?
I'm creating the ad and putting it out there, whether it's good or not.
And another concept with closing, which is a little bit more different to qualifying setting, but still similar, is that it has to be done within a time frame. Because if you're going to set a call, person's like, yeah, I mean, I can feel the pain. Let's set it for next year.
Yeah, yeah.
Some people genuinely like that. Like, oh, give me a call back in like 5-6 months. So what the person doesn't have there is they don't have like a higher level of
Urgency.
problem awareness.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how much it's going to cost them by staying stuck.
Yeah.
So when you're closing a person, this is another really important aspect too, is that you want to make sure that they understand the cost of inaction. So right now, if you was to ask yourself,
staying where they are without taking any action, and
yeah. So if you didn't make an act tomorrow, what would it cost you?
Cost us staying in the same position where I am right now.
Yeah, and what would that cost be?
Not growing my business. Not getting to where I want to be financially.
So so this is the thing, like if you miss tomorrow, then you could always just do it the day after. So
I've missed one more day then.
This is it.
Yeah. You've missed time that you can't get back, basically.
Is it just 24 hours that you lose, or is there anything else?
It's 24 hours of my life. It's a lot.
Yeah, but like, is it really a big deal? 24 hours? Why don't you just skip that one day?
Isn't it, you're just more likely to skip the next day and the next day and the next day, and then like before you know it, you skipped another week or 2 weeks or a month.
So it's almost like it's building the seed of a bad habit, which then makes it more and more difficult over time to
come out of. Well, it just gets into you're then in another comfortable place where you're like, okay, it's not the end of the world. No?
Yeah, you start kind of like negotiating with yourself to do bad habits, essentially. So if that was then sustained, so we've got like the cost of one day. Imagine now, like you was to sustain that bad habit over 6 months.
Oh yeah. Then you see the impact of a whole 6 months of having not progressed.
And how would that feel? 6 months down the line, you have not put out the ads, you set the intention today, and you're looking back.
I feel like I would feel like I betrayed myself. I let myself down.
Yeah. And what would be
what I said I was gonna do?
Yeah, if you did betray yourself and you did let yourself down, you're in that position, what would be your deepest fear about that self-betrayal?
I give up. Yeah.
Can you see what I'm doing?
You're taking me through the awareness thing again, aren't you?
Well, it's one part of the awareness, which is the part of the pain of the problem, but it's specifically around the cost of inaction. I just made you very aware of how much it's going to cost you to miss tomorrow.
To miss it, yeah.
So if you find that you're procrastinating, not taking action, or you're delaying it,
remember this conversation.
This is the kind of
You're gonna replay this video for me if you post it tomorrow.
He's gonna replay it. Yeah. Get you to say back to you the things that you just said to me.
Yes.
Yeah, but first I need to sleep so I can wake up tomorrow morning. So I'm very tired now.
What's the cost of sleeping?
When I was younger, I can. This has come back to bite me, like really. when I was younger, I never used to let my parents sleep. I was like, "It's so boring. Let's go do something." Like why do you have to sleep? Sleep is so like, who sleeps and who needs sleep? It's such a waste of time. And now I'm like, when my kids do that, I'm like, oh my God, you have no idea. Please sleep as much as you can.
Yeah, I was watching a video yesterday by, again, the same guy, the sales guy, Cole Gordon, and he was saying that when he was in his 20s, he would just be able to do different things with his body. So he even felt it from like his 20s to his 30s. And like in your 20s, you're able to wake up at like 8 a.m., go to work on your business until about 4 a.m., and then sleep for a few hours and go do it the next day. But that's just not something that even in your 30s that you have that same ability to do, never mind getting into your 40s, 50s, and 60s. So
definitely.
Yeah, he was just saying that when you're younger, it's
especially when you're
something that you want to
it's
leverage.
Like we don't realize at the time.
Yeah, if you use it towards partying and just
that's the thing. If you're using it like for good, then it's good. But if you're just using it to like stay away for no reason.
I think for me, my first half of my 20s, I did a combination of not using it, just pretending that I was old and getting all my sleep in. And the second thing was using it for things that weren't exactly benefiting me. Now, yeah, I'm actually getting way less sleep, but I'm doing a lot more, getting a lot more done, and staying pretty healthy.
While you can, that's a good thing to do. While you can, because there will be a time come when you like, like 10 o'clock. It's got past 10 o'clock. I need to get in bed right now. Yeah, I'm like that.
Clocking the hours.
I used to be able to watch a film at night, but not now. I value my sleep a lot more than most.
I can.
The only thing I spend hours on is like these calls, basically. That's it.
Well, that's the cost then. That's another cost, is that if you don't take the action, it's 6 months of these calls and losing sleep.
Still studying on these calls. I'm going to get my act together, babe. We're going to be doing this for the next 6 months. The more we take action, the less dependent we're going to become on you. And that's better for all of us, basically.
Yeah, that's just,
And people will become dependent on you.
We need help with the next thing, but like...
But it won't be the same. So what will happen after this part, people will become dependent on you. When people are dependent on you,
that I'm scared of, to be honest.
When that happens, like, you set it around your schedule whenever you want to do it. So it could be one weekend. It doesn't have to be all the time. But one weekend could be monthly, could be in the afternoons, can be whenever you want to do it. And whilst that happens, like, the way that you'll be dependent on me will not necessarily be for things as frequently, but it'll also just be like when you're about to hit a new milestone. I've got to do this thing. How do I do this part? So you'll need a lot less support, but you'll
need the guidance and advice.
Like you'll meet up with me like every few months or so, like in a event or in a another country on a holiday. I'll probably pop into one of your retreats or something. And
special guest.
Special guest
appearance.
That's it. Special guest appearance, and like we can. To be honest, as long as I got the food, I'm there. The food and the weather.
Inshallah. All right, Mo. Before I fall off to sleep on this desk,
I'll keep you up.
Thank you so much again.
Nice one. Thank you very much.
Always.
And thanks for coming, as always.
Yeah. Have a good evening.
Nice one.
You too.
Take care.
Take care.
Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Bye bye.